Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for a unintended but fun surprise episode.
It's another experimental episode for us.
One that's kind of a bit of a filler in case things don't go well with recording for the episode after Fies.
Or we'll just throw it in somewhere. It's a mystery. We'll
Yeah,
put it. But this is your standard tier list video. If you've been on the internet for the last 5 years, I think, you've seen a tier list video.
oh yeah. But M,
They're,
what are we tier listing?
the combat jobs of Final Fantasy XIV.
Now,
So we're going to rank these together, as in we're going to try and agree on this tier list. This will be the channel's tier list. This is not M's tier list. This is not Soul's tier list because there's a few differences between the two of us, and I figured it would be fun to try and have a semi-debate, have a little Amratine style.
I'll get the gladiator swords.
I said Amratine style, which means we need our giant black robes and white masks.
Yeah, but I
So
wouldn't
we're gonna
cheat.
have,
I'll get the gladiator swords.
fine. I'll just contract a bigger gladiator sword.
Okay, let's talk about the rules first.
Yeah, we've got 4 short rules for this. And that's for the first rule. Does this job look like it's fantasy? If the job has a certain ideal look to it, does the gear look like it fits that? Does the actions look like it fits that? This is purely aesthetic. The second, does the job feel like the fantasy? Does it belong in this role it's in? Does it play like this role? Does it play like how you hear the description of, for example, ninja? Does ninja play like how you think a ninja should play? Was the story with the job fun? Now, we will include the classes in this too. So jobs that didn't have classes may or may be weakened by this. Honestly, I'm just throwing the classes in there because otherwise Paladin's story would be crap.
Yeah, we're not huge Paladin fans. Don't get us wrong. If you are, great for you. I hope you have all the fun in the world with the job and go the distance with it.
I hate the story so much. And the final fourth rule: do the two of us have fun with this? This is where we're going to actually get the most debate out of because my main is one of Soul's worst jobs. One of his best jobs is one of my worst.
To be fair, this is also where we're going to agree the most too. So it's kind of like one of those back and
Yes.
forth things.
Yeah.
So
So we're going to just have some fun.
let me just adjust this real quick because
So
there we go. Okay.
we have the 5 categories. Starting from the bottom, the Blue Mage category.
Now let's address this first because I think this will get it out of the way sooner. Blue Mage is technically not a full job.
It's what the game refers to as a limited job. It's the only one, and I'm pretty sure we might get a second limited job, but I'm not betting on that until somewhere in the middle of 7.0.
Yeah, so it didn't feel fair to kind of rank this among with the others.
Because it can do everything, and yet it also can't really do anything on its own.
It's a jack of all trades, but master of none.
And I admit, I have fun with it, but I know dedicated players who do nothing but Blue Mage, and go nuts. I feel your pain for Blue Mage having not been updated this entire expansion. I feel your pain. There are some cool things I want from Blue
Yeah,
Mage.
I'm just going to pop that in there now
Yeah.
because...
Yeah.
Okay, come on, get over there. Thank you.
That was a bit slow. But yeah, this is just us saying Blue Mage is its own category.
Yeah, because...
That's either a good or a bad thing.
Yeah, it's its own thing. There's no real judgment to it. But
it's impossible. It's impossible to judge on its own.
yeah, because I will say this, followed by their own rules. Let's just be fair with it. I did enjoy the entire story with it.
It was somewhat fun. I have some points where I wanted to smack the Blue Mage teacher's head, but I get that's the point of the character. I do think it fits the fantasy of a see monster do thing, you do monster thing now.
Yeah.
And finally, I love the last gear we got from it, the fancy top hat and the mask. And the cape. I'm a sucker for that style. It feels very stage magician. My only problem with it is I wish that was just standard caster gear, because I would wear that for all my casters.
I think there is a caster hat like that.
Not to the same quality, and not with a mask like that.
I will admit that I think it's an interesting way to get people to group up, because you remember what we were doing when we first got the Blue Mage.
Yeah, Blue Mage can be stupid fun or stupid frustrating.
Hey, M. Fish.
Stop throwing fishes at people. Stop throwing fishes at people.
Uh, just
All
some
right,
of the
so
spells are just so stupid.
yeah, they are.
Okay, do you want to go tank first, or do you want to start?
I want to finish explaining the tiers we have.
Okay,
So the
I
next
got
tier
ahead
up,
of myself.
the next tier up is could be better. This is the lowest of the low for us, and it's just what it is.
So I'll just throw warrior in there now.
No, you can't do that.
I know.
Let me finish. So we don't really think any of these jobs are bad. I think they're bad for us or need a bit of a rework in terms of identity or style
Or story.
Yeah. The next one up is just the neutral ground.
Yeah,
Which is why
it's not for us, but we can see where it plays the key roles.
Which is why I had to make the tier a literal quote from the neutral planet from Futurama. No strong feelings one way or the other. This job is, well, technically could use some improvement for us. We're not really sure what to do, I think, is the best way of describing that tier. Then it's lots of fun. We have a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
And the last tier, semi-perfect.
We couldn't help ourselves.
No, we could not. So we're going to go in order of what we have here from the top left to the bottom right.
Now, I should have these in order of tank, healer, melee DPS, range DPS, and magic.
Yep. Which the game refers to as casters.
Mm-hmm.
But you do you. So we're going to start with the tanks first.
Okay.
Soul is predominantly a tank main, so let's start with the very first tank everyone thinks of.
That would be our friend the Paladin.
And the Gladiator. So, let's just get this out of the way first. The Heavensward Paladin story is the worst job story in the game.
I don't even remember that much of it.
That's where the former guild leader of the Paladins fakes his own death and then has every other Paladin fight to the death to prove they are the strongest Paladin to recharge a magic sword.
You're not giving me a very good reason to trust religious artifacts here.
No.
Heavensward did that enough on its own. We didn't need you helping.
Yeah. It was so bad that the level 70, the Stormblood Paladin storyline, was just a Gladiator storyline all over again with the Swordsman tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was so bad it killed the Paladin story.
Now, stepping from the story that we both agree is... This does fit very well in the Final Fantasy world. This is kind of a tank, for lack of better words. You got a shield, which does an amazing job now that it can block both physical and magical.
That was so dumb when it couldn't block magic. I feel bad for all those paladins back then. It does often have white knight armors, flowing capes, badass looking shields, nice big swords, or if you prefer tiny short swords for the more, hidden stabby kind of way you want to be a paladin.
Yeah.
Honestly, Paladin's gear is usually not my favorite, but I usually go over and go, yeah, that's nice. That's real nice.
And you can also take that and go with some of the more darker toned armors that look less paladinish, I guess?
Less white knight.
Yeah, and kind of be more the adventurer.
Plus, I am a sucker for with armor with a cape, and a lot of paladin armors have capes. And let's face it, the Endwalker Paladin outfit is really badass.
Yeah. I mean, it does fit in very well in its role. It can take a huge beating and heal itself and others, which is a huge plus.
Its magic attacks are really spectacular look too. And let's face it, dropping a bunch of magic swords on the enemy.
I think Endwalker's where it really started to hit a shine, in my opinion.
But then it comes to actually how we play it, as in me and Soul play it.
Not our first choice.
No. It has severe button bloat issues, especially on controller.
They've addressed it a little bit. It's gotten better.
Yeah, but I also feel like I'm stepping over my own feet. It has cover, which is a classic Final Fantasy ability, but nobody uses it because it's not actually that helpful because it's so short range, and if you miss cover, you can get yourself killed really easily. But I do like the idea of you to basically, get down, Mr. President.
Yeah, unfortunately, I will say a later job does that better.
For me, I feel it could be better.
I would say only because being able to heal yourself and others, having a strong shield for that gives you, and what was it? What it uses this? What has 3 shields pop up in front of it? I forget the name of the ability.
Sheltron?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
Shelltron.
upgraded now to I think the Holy
I would,
Sheltron, which
yeah, I would actually put it up a notch and go with no strong feelings one way or the other because I feel it could be worse. It could
yes.
be better. It's just kind of meh for me.
For me, it was teetering into it could be better. So if you want to put it in no strong feelings, I can work with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it no strong feelings because again, I feel that they've improved the bloat in the buttons,
Yes,
but
but
it also feels like it's still bloated. It's kind of one of those things where it feels like you worked on it and you did it at the same time. But I know
yeah,
they did. It's
yeah,
really confusing for me.
yeah. So we're on to the second tank the game has, the original A Realm Reborn, the Marauder slash Warrior. Unga
Now,
bunga job.
now
Unga
this is
unga.
M's
This is my
tank, so
favorite
I'll let
tank.
him start off the conversation here.
Okay, technically we've been having these jokes in Stormblood that Warrior is the it's the no it's the green DPS. No, it's the red tank. No, it's the red it's does it all. It heals itself. It heals others now really well. It does pretty good damage. It doesn't hit the hardest anymore as like it used to, but it still hits like a freight train.
Especially Fell Cleave when in the upgraded Fell Cleave.
Inner chaos, yes. For me, Warrior is a lot of fun, but and nearly the perfection of the game. Like I feel like if you have a warrior with you, you're good for anything. Taking in the community feels warrior is unga bunga too easy, and that's a negative. I can see that, but I don't agree with it. I don't think being too easy is a big negative. It can be if it's like you only have to push one button to win. Yeah, no, that's not fun. But warrior
My
actually
oh,
does have to do things. It has to watch its own HP. It can then heal its allies. Sure, it can heal by attacking, but it still needs to know when to throw the nascent flash on an ally to help them. Warrior, I feel, can be easily the main tank, or as I prefer calling it, the sub tank, because sub tanks were a thing for Mega Man X.
my biggest issue with Warrior
Mm-hmm.
is that like 2/3 of all your resources, it feels like you're just waiting for a timer. There's no resource to worry about.
That's honestly kind of fair. It does build. I do miss when the explosion punches cost resources and your tackle.
I mean,
If they had if they had kept that, I think the job would have been.
healing yourself doesn't even cost you rage or whatever that meter is called.
Mhm.
Like you can
No,
just literally have like 3 to 4 buzz to just go. I'm gonna heal myself, and the only thing I gotta worry about is a timer. But I'll still have, like I'll use one to heal myself. I got 3 other buttons in case something else goes wrong.
hmm
Like I'm not angry you had that, but I'm still at the same time. It's like,
share.
yeah.
Yes, I can agree with that, but I still think it belongs in semi-perfect myself.
Well, we still got other categories for the rules, so let's be
Fair
fair.
enough. Um,
I do
how it
enjoy a
looks.
lot of the armors that main job
Yeah,
armors the warrior got. They
the
look.
war- the warrior has combined the idea of a stout warrior and a barbarian, and
I
they
think.
do both
I
really
think
well.
we honestly want to just call it a berserker. Honestly, most of the time.
Yeah, it's pretty much berserker.
Like I know they didn't go full in DPS for that because it's a tank and they gotta try and
They did need a tank
yeah.
for to work with Paladin. I know you're not a big fan of axes. I like a lot of the axes they gave this job, but
The first, or second relic, I forget which one it was. I think it's the
mhm.
second one. Or
Arbert's
yes.
first.
Okay, thank you. I could never remember that. Only because I
hmm
know I never did the first one because I hate the
Yeah, well, if we refer to a tier list of relic grinds, Realm Reborn's not getting very well.
no, it's not. And we'll discuss that later. I don't want to get
Yeah.
into that.
Yes, but
But I do like that axe. I like its design. It's a very nice axe. A lot of the weapons for this are this is gonna hurt when I smack you with it.
hmm I
And
like how a lot of the attacks are spinning, so I feel the topping of just the
mhm.
axe actually assists the spinning around like a top.
and a few of them even look like you're hitting them with the pummel of the handle. So that's a
Which,
plus.
yeah, it does work. And like I
Um
said, I have a lot of fun playing this job. I
I
really
do
do.
appreciate that they adjusted the AoE, the go all around it now instead of just the
I,
cone.
I do miss the cone, but I'm fine with it being taken away from me for ease of use because honestly, people are still scared to play tank, and I do think we should let people play tank who want to, but not scare them off because
Well,
let's.
if it wasn't your first option, like it went AOE all around you and then the spread in front of you, I'd be a bit better with it
Mm-hmm.
because your first action is to get as much as you can. I think the AOE around you works better for that.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And if it's just a saying that you're trying to grab everything, like there's something behind you, but you also got to try and get the other guy off with something else. You're limited in where you can grab, and the AOE's with everything else worked a lot better for that.
Yeah,
And I
you're not
think
wrong.
it wasn't huge, but I think that bit Warrior in the ass a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
But I'd have to agree that's going to semi perfect
That would
because
get.
it's a solid job.
It's fun to play.
Despite my annoyance to its healing, it is an incredibly sturdy tank that you're not going to take down very easily.
Yep. In the hands of even an average tank, I think Warrior is really good to help out the rest of the
And if
party.
you have two warriors, you can fight Titan on your own.
That was Titan, Eden Titan. That was stupid fun to watch.
Yeah, it was. Uh,
So we're on to Dark Knight, which is. Would you still consider this your main, or has Reaper replaced it as your main?
ah, kind of goes back and forth. Like I love both jobs.
Mm.
Like
Dark Knight was my first tank as well, so I have a very soft spot for Dark Knight.
I'm still
And
more of a sword guy, but Reaper's opening up the scythes.
mm,
Not in practical combat because I know that would be insane to wield, but
yeah, and now, while I enjoy the axes, I'm also a sword guy, and I love great swords.
hi guts.
I was thinking more the beam sword from Epion, but that works too.
Look, you've seen my Elden Ring playthrough.
Yes, yes, I have. And we had a lovely Berserk episode. Go back and watch that.
Um,
So let's look at how does this job look. Does the armor often give you the image of a man that's a Dark Knight or a woman that's a Dark Knight?
the level 60 Chaos gear? Yes.
Yeah, almost all the Dark Knight relic gear is fantastic.
I think the only reason the 70 armor didn't work for me is because doesn't work good on my character, but the armor itself it works for it, like for the job.
That's fair.
And the swords most of the time. Ooh, you remember the Eureka sword?
Do you remember the random katana blade you got in Shadowbreakers for not Shadowbreakers, Stormblood for a while?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they give a lot of love and attention to the Dark Knight swords.
But I think the best sword for Dark Knight, and it's just like I said, just my opinion, is the Kronos Lux. That thing is a thing of beauty.
It is. So, what do you think of the Dark Knight story?
Well,
Yeah,
not to the horror too much, but the writer for the Dark Knight story wrote Shadowbringers, so
and
she
most of
clearly
it,
knew what she was doing.
and Endwalker. I
Okay, I
honestly
wasn't
Dark
sure
Knight.
she was in. I wasn't sure she did Endwalker. I forgot.
Look. Let's just say this: Dark Knight has the best job story. Period.
Yeah.
Well, I will not argue that. But
Um,
when it comes to how it feels in gameplay, do you
that's
think it?
been an interesting ride. Not as much as some of the other jobs, but it's had its own little journey there.
Mhm.
When it first came out, you were MP spending like a madman.
Yep.
And in my opinion, it was set a little too high on on MP spending.
hmm
Nowadays, it feels
Honestly, it feels the same thing as Warrior does, as you're not really managing a resource, you're just waiting
well. The only
at
thing you're
worst.
really managing is your MP.
Yeah, and you have so many ways of getting back MP, it doesn't really matter to me. You've got to be really irresponsible with your MP in order to, not have any.
Yeah, but it can run out. But at least is a resource you're expanding.
Fair enough.
So it
But then we get to its survivability as a tank.
okay. Let's address this before we go any farther. Blackest Night is still one of the best cooldowns ever.
It was so good, they just upgraded it and gave it to Warrior. Which,
You can't see it, fans,
sorry?
but I'm flipping off.
I'm sorry,
Well, I
but then
just
it
do a
was,
shield. You got to do a shield and regen, so screw you.
hey, throw a shield and you have 2 damage negate downs you can throw on your allies to help them with oblation. Isn't oblation great, Soul?
Yeah, I'm the tank that helps everybody else. I still get the shit thrown on me.
I know. I know. That's the thing about Dark Knight is it's so close to being an idealized tank, but you have no real way to heal yourself because you have your AoE, you have your single target combo,
Abyssal
and then you
Drain.
have an abyssal drain, which you're not supposed to use on single targets. You should be using carbon spit instead.
To be
I
fair, if I
don't
use
know.
Abyssal Drain on a single target, it's still a waste because it only drains once per hit.
Yep, and it doesn't give you that much. Well, carbon spit gives you more MP back
Mm-hmm.
if you use it.
I mean,
I honestly,
Abyssal Drain is amazing with a bunch of small level targets,
yeah.
but that's it.
Hmm. And then you had Walking Dead. Oh God, old Walking Dead.
Hey, you press this button and you die.
Now at least you can survive. I actually think the current Walking Dead is actually pretty smart.
Yeah, it managed to get us through Chaos Extreme
Oh yeah,
at
it
one
did.
time.
Y-
I mean,
So
Walking Dead is an interesting ability.
yes.
So, and especially now that they gave you ability that once it's activated, all your abilities heal yourself as well. You're given a
Mhm.
huge chunk to help the healers heal you.
Yeah, and when basically your own single rotation heals more than the warrior can heal himself. The warrior is looking at the zombie repelling a dart and going, "Holy crap! Can I have some of that?"
Yeah, but I have to die for that to work.
Yeah, so that feels like a fair trade-off. And at least it's once you get fully healed, it doesn't go away. It's still there for a few seconds. So you can
So, as much as I would love to put this up there with Warrior,
Mhm. It's lots of fun.
the limitations just throw it into lots of fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's strongly in lots of fun, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
it's borderline to semi-perfect. If it had one, maybe even two abilities to heal itself, like Warrior has,
Hmm.
it would be semi-perfect in my opinion.
Yeah.
Something to
I,
help, like before they did the rework, you could actually spam Abyssal Drain and recover HP,
yeah, because it's just 8 MP.
and then you would use
Travis spitting back your MP.
and the other ability, which I forget what it's called,
Blood weapon.
Blood Weapon. Thank you. I could not think of that for the life of me. And you would
Yeah.
get MP back, and then
Hmm.
you would also be part of your rotation. You could get a huge chunk of MP back doing that.
Hmm.
But now it's just use that, and it's like a 60-second cooldown in a boss fight or raid. That minute is not something you can wait on.
That being said, though, Dark Knight now is pretty much one of the heaviest hitting tanks. So if it's the main tank and has like a warrior to support it, it doesn't need to worry about being healed. The warrior will heal it for it while it just most things
Yeah,
down.
I got three
It's
white mages now.
pretty much, yeah. But the thing is, when it's on its own, that's when I feel it suffers the most.
It,
Warrior, it feels good as the
eh.
only tank, as the main tank, as the sub
Yeah,
tank. It
I'm not
doesn't
trying to
care.
toot my own horn, but a Dark Knight on its own, unless you know what you're doing, you're suffering more being on your own.
Speaking of suffering being on your own, we have Gunbreaker, which, while the newest tank, I have problems with, but I still like it.
It's another one that kind of does feel like it's trying to help the party out with its abilities, which I
Hmm.
appreciate.
But
It
it's also
feels
trying to be the one that hits the hardest. Like it's not sure what it's trying to be, in my opinion.
it feels like it's trying to take elements of all three of the previous tanks and shove them into one.
And it's not very good at any of them.
Yeah, you know that joke about there being three jobs in a trench coat with this job?
Oh yeah, good old Joe Rat. It does feel like 3 DPS in a trench coat, and I've seen so many new gunbreakers think, "Oh hey, I'm a tank. I can survive crowd. I'm dead."
It definitely feels like the squishiest tank to me.
It does. Also, its Aurora, while it's a regen, it can use anytime it wants. And it can be pretty good. Is not as good as some gunbreakers think it is.
Then again, it does at least able to heal itself with a few other abilities as well, which, again,
Mm,
not to ride that horse, but Hey, the Dark Knight could use some of that love, people.
Yep. Its damage output is nothing to snuff at, though.
No, it feels like it's trying to hit faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's more rapid hitting than it is hard hitting. It feels like to me.
Yeah. Now, for its gear, it's only really had 2 gears since it's the newest tank.
Yeah.
I think it looks pretty cool. I get what it's going for. It's going for like the badass in the trench coat showing up.
I do like the trench coat. I do like the first outfit overall.
A lot of the gunblades themselves are pretty nice. There's a few stinkers, but what job doesn't have?
My only problem with a lot of the gunbreaker swords,
no barrel.
Well, there's no barrel, and it's where they put the trigger.
Mm-hmm. For me,
it's an aesthetic thing, but that really just kills it for me sometimes.
For me, it's the barrel or how it looks like the gun would reload. I don't notice the trigger as much as you do, which is fair.
Yeah. Like we said, this is for between me and M, so...
My biggest problem with its gear, though, is why does it keep getting, like, scouter-like monocles? They don't really jive well, in my opinion. And the worst part of it is you can't pick what eye it covers. If the visor let you go from the left eye to the right eye instead, I'd be cooler with that, but... No. A lot of characters I know make one of their eyes damaged, so... Hey, the gunblade thing is on my undamaged eye. You look so stupid. Don't give us the option to give our characters a blind, scarred eye and then be like, nope, eye patches can go on the other eye only.
Well, then again, if you're blind in one eye, the monocle might be trying to help you focus with the other eye, so...
I suppose. How about the story for the Gunbreaker? Because actually we didn't touch the story of the Warrior, which is just stupid fun.
Oh, yeah. which is the fun guy. The guy's name is a joke off Curious George.
I love Curious Gorge and his brother Broken Mountain. I also love the romance on the step with the
oh god,
the Berserker tribe. That was like the Warrior is you'd think it'd be all unga bunga serious. No, the Warrior story is just stupid.
It's got its serious moments,
but it's just stupid comedy. Pretty much, it feels like.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's a very nice change of pace. The Gunbreaker story is about revenge and finding a new life, and I think it's pretty good. I like the Gunbreaker story a lot.
I really was like, it's a lot of the jobs are easy to predict, but they're still well written.
Yeah, they're still fun. They're still an adventure we went on.
Gunbreaker, I was one of the few ones that I predicted it, but it had a few slip and surprises every now and then, which I appreciated. Like I saw where the overall where it was going to end, but every once in a while I had that little niche that caught me by surprise, which I appreciated.
Yeah, which is good. For me, I think Gunbreaker belongs in No Strong Feelings, but ahead of Paladin by a large margin. How about you?
I can agree to that. I only think the major thing holding Gunbreaker back per se is a slight case of identity crisis with being a tank.
Yeah, it definitely has a...
Like, it could have been a DPS, I don't think anybody would have complained.
No, nobody would have. Honestly, it would have been a DPS with a lot of utilities, which people are asking for.
I don't know its abilities as well as the other jobs, so I can't harp on that too much. Because, let's face it, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 jobs. And 9 counting Blue Mage. And each one has at least 20 to 30 abilities. At least, so... One or two of us will slip through the cracks, ladies and gentlemen.
And if you count Blue Mage, that has over 200 options, I think.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, no. We're going to forget a few things here and there.
Yeah.
But the thing about all these jobs is you can basically pick them up and relearn them on the fly.
Yes. Especially if it's a job you're familiar with. Like, or not, a role you're familiar with, I meant to say.
If you play one tank, you can play the other 3 fairly easily. You just need to remember right, I do this instead of this.
Yeah, the major difference is not your rotation, because the rotations are pretty much the same.
Which I still think is a good idea.
Yeah, keep the basic simple, but adjust how it works with the group, which is where your other abilities come in.
which I think all four of them do have different enough abilities and different enough
Mm-hmm.
garnishes that they are different jobs. They're not too homogenized. They could have been though, and I'm glad they're not.
Yeah, I think
So
the only thing that's going to that really needs to be changing. Warriors fight as it is. Don't go screwing
yeah,
with it.
no, you just upgrade its things when you obviously upgrade everything else in 7.0, but do not give it any more self healing and do not take away any of its self
No,
healing.
we'll leave it alone. Just Dark Knight, give it a little bit of self healing,
Give
and
it
we're
another
good.
vampiric ability. Give it a vampire bite.
Or give me back where Bloody Sword did HP and keep the MP. Just let it do both.
Mm-hmm. Gunbreaker, I think Gunbreaker needs. I honestly think it's good where it is in terms of its attack options. I just think maybe make Aurora do a little bit more.
Yeah, I
And
think where it feels like it's a DPS, it technically has two attack rotations.
yeah, it has the standard aggro, and then it has the Gnash and Claw combo.
Mm-hmm.
Which, God, that we forgot to mention how good the animation on Gunbreaker is.
Yeah, it is one of the better animations. I mean, I Dark Knight, I missed the damage rotation.
The energy beam from one hand.
Yeah, but we can't really take that into account right now because they're no longer in with the
Yeah.
character. So,
So, shall we get on to healers?
here we have our first starting the
Yeah.
ever classical White Mage.
I hate the Conjurer story so much. I hate the White Mage story almost as much. Oh, the stories are so bad. Gameplay's fun
Yeah,
though. The Conjurer and the White Mage stories make me think of the worst parts of the Old Republic Jedi.
I can see that.
Kidnap special kids. They didn't actually kidnap kids, but that's what it feels like. Take them away from their families. Make them be unemotional monks, which is not good for anyone's emotional state.
I would
And
imagine not.
then forbid them from doing anything that's not the White Mage way, which led to people thinking inside the box. Yes, eventually in story they started to branch out and help the larger world. Yay, good for them, but we had to come along and basically drag them along to do that.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't really bad people. They were just stuck in their traditional ways.
Which the traditional ways just set off alarm bell in my head.
Oh, I'm
If
not
you did,
arguing with that. I'm simply saying, like,
but
there's a bit of a
what,
difference on that.
yeah, but when it comes to how the job plays, um, yeah, even a basic white mage can make a party survive things it really shouldn't.
Yeah, gameplay wise, it is your healer. It has like 3 attacks,
It
4,
has 3 attacks. It has 4. Yeah, it technically has 4. It's
and
got
it
its
has
dot.
holy, which is
Okay, out of all the AOE skills the healers had, nothing beats holy.
no.
Good old holy, nothing beats holy. It has a size, which hey, I'm going to heal the party, damage the enemy, and restore my own MP. Why? Cause I can.
Because I'm the white mage, motherfucker. Kiss my ass.
And then it has its dot, and then it has its glare. The
Yeah.
running joke is white mages aren't healers; they're glare mages.
Well.
A lot of its abilities are really pretty, like sparkly, ooh, glowy, ooh, angelic energy wings behind me. Huh. You feel safe with a white mage round. It looks like the traditional white mage. It looks like a bishop-like healer, like oh, a
Mm-hmm.
guy in white robes healing people. A lot of its staffs are like trees and crap like that, which I do not like. So I always grab like the metal robot stuff.
Plus, it's always just fun knowing that if you step out of line, there's some guy with a stick that's gonna smack you upside your head.
Mm.
Um, Honestly, with how they kind of split healers into shield healers or regen
Regen.
healers, white mage is always a solid choice to heal your ass.
Yeah, it doesn't step on anyone's toes, and it just bolsters everyone else around it.
My only concern, it's starting to not quite there. It's starting to step on the same problem as paladin. It's
Yeah,
getting a little
it
button
is getting a little.
bloaty.
But on the plus side, though, I never really feel like these options are too redundant to each other. Like,
No,
yes, the
but
motion
that might
that
also be
that could
part of
happen.
the reason why it's starting to feel bloated.
Yeah, it's yes. A lot of the options the white mage had is just heal more. Like, huh, I'm out of that. Heal with this one instead. But the thing is, the white mage just walks up going, "I have 1,000 ways to take care of all of your boo boos. Everyone's going to be okay."
Especially with that flower too. Jesus.
Yeah, I know. And then, oh, wait, it has 5 attacks. It has the blood lily,
Oh yeah, the blood lily. Blood for the blood lily.
which until Sage was the most satisfying way for a
I
healer to
mean,
hurt to do damage.
if you're gonna ask me to rank this, I would have to
I,
say lots of fun.
uh, yeah, I'd say lots of fun. Below Dark Knight, though.
Yeah. If not because of the story, but because you're healing people. These people are
Yeah,
not going anywhere.
honestly, if the story was better, I'd put it in semi-perfect.
Yeah, the story is what really drags it down, but
Now we get to
everything.
Skull.
Yeah, okay.
We get the Scholar, which has the reverse problem. I think it has the best healer story.
Time berries. I'm in.
Yeah, the discovering an ancient lost art of healing, finding out the mystery behind the Tonberries, curing the Tonberries. Can we continue doing that, please?
I'm just glad now we got to swim down and around that area now. Like there's nothing
Mm,
there, but it's still fun to do.
yep. I also think the idea of a bookish healer is kind of a cool idea.
I will kill you with 1,000 paper cuts.
And also, I love how they have the graduation hats as their usual outfits. That's just cute. You just look, see, oh, that guy just came for his graduation. Oh God, I'm so full of poisons. I think I'll just lay down and die in front of them. I do miss when Sage, a scholar, had all the poisons.
Now, just to be fair, this job technically is split from Summoner.
Arcanist, yeah, Arcanist becomes summoner or scholar.
Mm-hmm.
So they do share a lot of the same weapons designs, which hurts Sage and Summoner, in my opinion. Whenever the two split,
You
I
mean
almost
Scholar? You said
always.
Sage.
Sorry.
No problem.
Whenever the two jobs split, I tend to grab the books that have split from each other just so they don't look the same.
Yeah.
Because I can just imagine, like, oh no, I'm late for battle. Better grab my wet equipment. I should up wearing my healer pants with my attacking book, didn't I?
Yeah, that's one of the. I mean, on the plus side, you only have to level one job to get the same level in the other job, the shared experience.
Yeah.
So you could kind of cheese it and have a pretty decent healer and a damage dealer at the same time.
Not that hard.
No. For me, I think the biggest problem still is the fairy.
Yeah, the fairy you summon with your scholar, your scholar book. I'm trying to correct myself when I was already correct. The fairy is kind of narv.
Now,
She's not bright at times.
let's.
Bless, bless her for trying, though. Bless her for trying.
She's had some rework done because in Realm Reborn, you had two fairies that either
Did
cured
different.
status ailments or heal people.
Yeah, healed a group of people or debuff the boss. You couldn't have both.
Mm-hmm.
One was considered the advanced scholar fairy, so if you showed it without the advanced one in end game content, people would actually kind of get mad at you. But the thing is, she was the uglier fairy in my opinion.
I really didn't give a crap either way.
I mean, their current upgrade mode, where the level 80 ability, where she upgrades into a better fairy with way stronger shields, I like that one the most.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in A Realm Reborn, you had more options to control her. Now she's more on autopilot. She feels dumber now. She doesn't heal as much. Like, with the way the game progressed, she kind of stopped leveling up with us. She's almost a level or two behind us in terms of what she should be able to heal with. But this is so the player doesn't get lazy. It just stands there and go, I'm going to keep casting Broil.
Yeah, this
Broil.
was not a
Broil.
job for
Broil.
me. I had
This was
problems with this even at the start in a Realm Reborn Heaven's Sword with that fairy.
this was my first job. It and Summoner were my first jobs, and I have a soft spot for Scholar right now. But honestly, if you ask me right now, Scholar belongs. It could be better.
I was gonna go no strong feelings, but I'll give it a high. Could be better.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Because I feel like they need to rework the fairy somehow, and I definitely think they need to rework its offense abilities. Because I freaking hate R4. I don't care if Art of War hits harder than all three other jobs. It's not fun. When you ran up and cast Miasma 2 and then ran away so you could manage poisons and whatnot, that felt more fun. With the idea of the job being the one to dot and hide to heal, it felt cool. It did feel like it was a commander on the field giving it technical advice, because that's what it is in game. Now it just feels like I throw shields on and occasionally slap you. It's not fun anymore for me. That being said, though, when everyone made the joke at Endwalker that Scholar could now boost the party's speed, and it's just a useless ability, I know that ability is awesome, because whenever there's a huge enough AoE and everyone needs to run, you all look at the Scholar going, help us run!
I do like that. I do like they give more than that than just to Bard and
Mm.
Machinist.
And Dancer, but those can't do it in combat. Only Scholar is smart enough to boost people's speed in combat.
Well,
That being said, though,
for.
I have seen Scholars troll with that while someone's running for their life. Oop, let's make the guy run faster so they run off the edge before they can stop.
Well, that's what I used to do as an astrologist and give it to the monk.
Yep. Speaking of astrologer, let's get on to the third healer. That's what I'm terrible at. This is one of my least favorite jobs in the game.
But apparently I'm amazing at it somehow.
I don't know. Back when it first came out, it was the job that was the bridge between regen and barrier.
I could do both.
White Mage could heal and regen. Scholar could create shields and heal. At the start of at combat, Astrologian had to choose, do I shield or do I regen? And if it picked shield while there was a Scholar on the field, the Scholar would want to strangle the Astrologian because their shields would clash and delete each other.
Regen didn't. White Mage didn't give a shit because Regen just stacked.
Yeah, it just stacked. It's just like, oh hey, you're doing the same thing as me. All right, whatever.
I mean, that warrior's not dying.
I would prefer if you shielded people, but all right, whatever. Not like I don't have 1,000 options anyway if things go wrong. Also, White Mage at the time had the ability to go, you guys have MP to cast? I just do it for free. But Astrologian, the card-wielding, star-wielding job that heals.
I will say this, I do love the Astrologian spells because it always had something to do with stars.
They're pretty.
Stars colliding with each other's. Earthly Star got a major upgrade in size.
You make a bomb. Don't worry, he's friendly.
So Earthly Star used to be like a small AoE about the size of a tank's AoE grabber.
That nobody ever noticed and stood outside of.
Which is weird because I always noticed it. I don't know if it was just a me thing. Like,
no, I sometimes would lose it, and I would be the one putting it down. Like, where did I put that again?
Maybe it's just a me thing. Maybe it's just weird, but
yeah. Now it's the size of most boss arenas, so you put it down, and everyone jokes, "All right, I'm gonna try and stay an Earthly Star."
Like when I first put this down, I was like, "Oh shit!" And you gotta see this.
See, oh my lord. And also, a lot of its new Endwalker abilities are so pretty with the star showers and the weird mirror thing it creates on people. It can hurt your eyes after a while, though. It's not as bad as White Mage spamming Holy, though.
I mean, it's still a main regen healer now. They got rid of being able to pick shield or regen, but now it's just a steadfast regen. But now it's got abilities to kind of be able to give shields with an ability.
Yeah, a temporary one-time shield, which doesn't override either healer's shields.
But the biggest problem was the card system.
Oh, the poor card system.
Now, I understand why they got rid of like one or two cards. I can't be mad about that because they got rid of TP.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can't tease monks.
No. Before, when we had TP issues, which TP was the gauge you used for physical attacks, every attack would use some up. Monks would have an ability where they go faster. The Astrologian had a card that made them go even faster, so they would burn through their own TP just punching like their goddamn fist on the North Star. Or JoJo, whichever reference you prefer.
If you want to piss a monk off, give it an arrow card.
Yep. That one Could have stayed, but they had to get rid of, when they got rid of TP, they had to get rid of the Astros TP recovery card. Nobody was like, oh yeah, we have to keep the TP regenerating card. People regen that non-existent TP. But
So,
because Astrologians were always fishing for the balance card, which just buffed people's attack power, all cards are now balance cards. Before you had a card that gave you defense up, regen MP, up your crit rate, up your attack speed, and up your TP recovery
I mean,
rate.
I always kept an MP regen card in stash and just used the other card.
If I was tanking, when I first learned to tank and Soul was first learning to heal, him having a bowl card to increase my defense, oh god, was I ever happy to see him draw that green card. Now, I understand people want to do bigger damage. Give me balance. Me want balance only. Yeah, screw that. I prefer tactical options.
Well, you see, here's the funny thing. They kind of fixed that when they gave you the ability to stack up the symbols in the cards and give AoE buffs to the entire party.
Which is something I always forget how it works.
I
I know it's there. I know how to use it. I just always forget it's there because it doesn't pop out enough for me.
I think I'm
And then
just
when
so used to doing it because the cards also recover your MP. So I
also forget. I also forget they do that, which is why I always, as an Astro, I'm always feeling, why am I out of MP? Have you drawn your cards? Shit.
So what I used to do is I always used to keep the MP regen card because before you could always keep a card in hand and save it, and then the next card you had like a 30-second timer to use the card.
Yeah.
So I always saved the MP card and used whatever card came up next.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can only have one card, which you're going to want to use anyway because it's all just damage buff. It's either going to be a ranged or close range.
Which I can never remember what the differences are. Like, I know balance is for physical, and I think bow is for ranged, but I don't know for sure. And I can remember it while I'm talking, but in the heat of battle, no. I can't remember that.
I can remember most of them when I see them, but trying to think when I'm not actually looking at the card is kind of I can't, which is kind of weird. But
that makes sense. That's the heat of battle.
Yeah. So I think that'd be another reason why Astro works for me is because the cards. Once I'm looking at them, I can remember that I know who to give it to. Once you ask me like, who does this card to? It's like, what does it look like? Because I can't tell you just by the name.
Fair enough.
So I think it's just one of those like I recognize the symbol more than the name.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of looks, it has a fortune teller vibe to a lot of its gear, which is hit and miss. Some of the fortune teller gear stuff looks really good, and some of it looks really stereotypical, almost a little bit racy at times.
I never thought it went
that far, but that might just be me being oversensitive, which is why I don't tend to bring it up much. But that being said, though, their globes, there are a lot of pretty globes.
Yeah, that was especially like the tigers.
Yeah. Byakuya's was cool.
Yeah, with the black and white paint strokes going through around it.
With the sacred mirror in the center, that was cool. I'm a sucker for that PvP one, the one Nem uses with the owl on it. That one's just really pretty.
Oh, you know what the one I liked? The Baja relic weapon with the star and the globes.
I'm really fond of the Moogle one too, where it looks like the Moogles are about to pull open a stage on the globe.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Which is pretty. So the Astrologian, honestly, it beats out Scholar and White Mage in terms of, look at my weapons. My weapons are all so nicely designed.
Mm-hmm.
I have a stick. I have a book. I have this fancy globe that's with all the cards floating around. And this globe looks like a ninja star. I wish they would do that. I freaking wish they would do that.
You know what I kind of wish they would do? As a kind of tribute to the original Warriors of Light, each globe represents like the Red Mage, the Warrior, Thief,
the black belt, black mage, mage. Like, yeah, I like that. That'd be cute.
Or at least have it where like each one of the little things that circle around it had something to represent the original 4 Warriors of Light.
Mm-hmm. Now, when we get to the actual job story, how do you feel about the Astro job?
I'm not gonna lie. The Heaven's Sword story, I somewhat skipped.
That's fair. It is kind of paint by numbers.
Not because I didn't like the story, but because I could not get into the job until later.
Mm-hmm.
This is the funny thing with this job, actually. I I wholeheartedly admit I level skipped this job.
Mm.
Then later on, when I was experimenting with healers, I found I'm actually quite good with this thing.
There's only one thing I like about the Heavensward story.
What's that?
If you do it, you get to notice in the background of Endwalker, the main antagonist is one of the forum members, and he downvotes you every single time. I did not know this until I watched a lore video about the Astrologian, and they pointed out in the trivia, and I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god, no wonder that guy's grumpy face looks so familiar.
You have to look that one up.
Yeah, it's good. It's real good.
Um,
Then we got to the Stormblood story, which I'm okay on. Honestly, Astrologian's story is just okay in my opinion.
Astrologian, I think, is a fine story. It brings up a lot of questions about the stars.
But, which makes me very mad because Dalamud, the Red Moon, was an important star before, and then it crashed, but it's still relevant, but I don't understand that. It can't be both relevant and not relevant if it's not there.
Well, yeah, see? Moving on.
Yeah. I'm at least glad they pointed out that no longer works that way.
Well, the other thing is, they point out the stars as they're kind of indiscriminately pointing out other stars as like other planets.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't feel like it's like, oh, this is a planet. Like all those stars can't all be planets.
No, but they're using the Japanese word for Earth, a planet and star, which is the same word, but said differently. But they just decided to just use star for all of it in the English translation. I'm just like, please, no, that confuses me.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a
mess.
I wouldn't say mess, just more of a oversight, I guess, in the lore.
Mm-hmm. So where do you want to put this before you ask my opinion?
Well, given the job's strong regen ability, its improved earthly star, the loss of the true card system, in my opinion,
Rest in peace.
I would either put it just below White Mage in Lots of Fun, or at the top of No Strong Feelings.
Let's put it at the top of No Strong Feelings, because I was feeling like putting it at the very bottom of No Strong Feelings. So we'll compromise by putting it right above Gunbreaker. There you go. And now it's time for the new kid on the block. The Sage, my new main healer.
I do admit I love the design on these things.
Gundam. Yes. Yeah, the new lifts are clearly based off the funnel system from classic Gundam. Which, I'm going to keep saying, hi, I'm a Gundam fan. If you reference Gundam, you immediately get massive points from me. But Sage is also known as I'm a healer, but I also must attack. Loads gun.
Careful with that blended carbuncle.
Sage has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5, I believe, off the top of my head attacks. Let's see, it's got Phlegma. Oh, no, it's got 6 if you count the dot.
Jesus Christ, I've only got like 3 as an Astro.
But the thing is, the Sage picks a partner, attaches a link to them, and every time the Sage attacks, they heal their partner. So that's why the Sage has to just keep, I have to keep shooting nonstop or everyone else around me dies.
It's the medic with a gun.
Yeah, it heals the worst. Like, its normal healing abilities are so weak, but it's not supposed to normally heal. If you're having to spam your normal heals, shit has gone so far wrong that you're gonna die anyway.
Sage... Okay, Sage also has a weird thing that also Dark Knight has with Blackest Night. You want the shield to break.
You want your single target shield to break or your AoE shield to break on you to get your, not your strongest attack, but one of your strongest attacks, the Adder Sting ability, Toxicon. God, I love Toxicon.
I know, you would shout up about it in Orthos.
I know, there's something satisfying about getting your Toxicon spam. Because it's a good AoE ability.
I think that's one of the reasons why I don't do so well with Sage.
That's fair.
I'd
Like
rather
Sage.
the shield not break, because that means you're staying alive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also the reason why I don't do top tier damage with my Dark Knights, because it's like, oh, yay, my shield didn't break. That means your attack didn't kill me.
Which is fair. Both of those breaking your shields feel like a pity reward, I guess you could say. Like, oh no, your shield broke, but don't worry, you got this in
To
exchange.
be fair, I understand my shield breaking when it's a tank buster.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's more of a counter for tank buster than anything.
Or when you're being swarmed by like 6 mobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, that's one of the reasons why I think the Sage shield works. Like when it breaks out against a tank buster, or oh no, the tank is being attacked by 12 enemies at once. Let's put a shield. The shield's already gone. Well, I'll just nuke the enemies around.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight.
I
The
mean,
Dark Knight will appreciate the enemies dying faster.
like I said, I understand the mechanics. I'm just in my head.
It feels weird. I'm not arguing with you about that.
Yeah.
But on the plus side, Sage has other shields they don't want to break. Like they're
Yeah. What's that one that gives you like 5 layers of shield?
the name now escapes me and it's bugging me. I just used it not too long ago.
Yeah. But
Something
because
else is the
that's
party
I always
version
use
of
that
it.
one for like heavy hits from the boss.
Mm-hmm. I like to throw that one on the tank while it's running to grab more mobs, so that way I don't have to worry about uh, diagnosis shields. Let's just say this: a lot of the Sage attacks are hard to remember because they're all in Greek, and also the job itself is definitely the most complex healer. But it fits in with the other healers incredibly well.
Like I do like linking to somebody and dealing damage to heal. It makes a lot more of an aggressive healer. I do like the difference in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Its mechanic of slowly regenerating its abilities, like the group shield throws out the group barrier that lessens damage, not shields them. The instant heals it gives with the Adder's Gall from every 30 seconds you get an Adder's Gall. Even
and
with
it does have 1 or 2 regens,
mm-hmm.
if I remember right. I know it has at least 1.
Yes, it has 2.
Okay.
Actually, 3 now. I forgot they added the third one.
I'll take your word for it. I don't clearly remember the 2.
They buffed another shield to have regens because it was a little bit on the weak side of a shield. So they're like, let's give it a weak regen too. And everyone's like, yes, we will take this. But Sage also hits the hardest of all of them. Yes, some of the other ones have a single attack that is stronger than Sage's, but Sage has so many attacks, it's hitting harder.
Look, my best thing is I only have one really great thing about Astro. Gravity, motherfuckers!
I mean, Gravity is a really cool AoE skill.
Yeah. Does good damage, too. You got him in for an AoE.
Yeah, as Sage is still brand new, it doesn't really have much in terms of gear.
No, but the new list, or I should say your blended carbuncles. Yeah, I'm sorry. That joke would never not be funny to me.
No, it's never not be funny to me either. I honestly feel like a lot of its weapons are either so dumb I love them or so cool I love them. There's no just bad yet. There's going to be. I know there's going to be.
I think it feels like there's a set design, and until they break from that mold, they're not going to be really great ones or really bad ones, because it feels like they're in a kind of like a slot right now that there's not too many too far out there yet.
For me, there are some super amazing ones, but at the same time, yeah, I can see what your point is. The gear itself, I mean, Alphanel's been wearing that gear since the start of the expansion. I think it's really nice looking.
Yes. I do like his new list. His is one of my favorite ones.
Ironically, they're one of the few I'm not that fussy on, but So for me, I actually would put this in lots of fun myself, but I know that's not where you want to put it.
I will agree, mid-tier, lots of fun.
Yeah, I'll take that. So it's at the very bottom of lots of fun for now.
I will actually, funny enough, I will put it over White Mage.
Take that, White Mage.
For 2 reasons.
Oh.
1, the story's lots of fun.
Yeah, that was a good story. Very short and very...
1, I appreciate the change in tone and having an aggressive healer. Not saying it's for me when I play healer, but I appreciate having something different in the game as a whole.
Yeah, I can go with that.
Okay, so that takes care of our healers and our tanks.
No, we're doing another tank right now. Dragoon, the floor tank. No, okay,
This has come a long way.
That's our only floor tank joke. Honestly,
That we're going to
I
make
like
consciously.
Yeah, if we make any other ones unconsciously, I'm very sorry, but I like Dragoon.
Dragoon is actually what I started out as. Well, I should say Lancer's what I started out as, but...
Yeah, the Lancer story itself is just very meh to me.
It didn't start getting good until the end of Dragoon.
He's a good Dragoon.
Heaven's Sword.
Oh yeah, Heaven's Word story is pretty good.
And
I love
how you could do little tie-ins with Heaven's Sword story as a Dragoon.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think started doing stuff like that. If I'm wrong, you can correct me, but...
I like the Stormblood story, and the short Shadowbringers one was alright.
I don't remember Endwalkers.
Endwalker didn't have one, remember? There's no job stories anymore.
Was there something for each class?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Gear-wise, I generally think Dragoon has some of the nicest gear, except for I'm not fussy about the Heaven's Word weird, poofy butt skirt thing.
I appreciate when the Dragoons, you could tell it's some sort of chainmail or scale mail armor, but it's sleeked and, for lack of better words, aerodynamic. I mean, a Hrothgar and a Rogan will never seem aerodynamic to me.
No. The best Dragoon armor, in my opinion, makes it look like you're a bullet with your spear.
Mm-hmm.
The spears themselves, oh my god, there are so many good lances.
The Relic armor is a very good example of that. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I like the Gaebog. I like the... I forget the name of the Heaven's Word one, that one with the dragon energy around it. Oh.
I couldn't tell you.
I think Dragoon generally almost always has some of the best Relic gear weapons.
Yeah, I can agree to that. It really does step up with its gear.
I mean, Dragoon is one of the most beloved jobs in the franchise, so obviously someone on the Div team is going to be like, no, we give special love to Dragoon. Even though it's not always the best job, it's going to look like one of the best jobs. We love you. Mwah. Now you go on the field, buddy. Go on out there.
No, stand up. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
Yeah, that comes to how the job plays. It should be more fun than it is, but it's clunky.
The problem is the kind of like the AT bar, kind of, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Because the jump system, while very Dragoon feeling, because you launch yourself in the air and you pretty much smack down and stab the enemy.
It looks so cool.
It's phenomenal. The problem is you're locked in place. If something happens, you're screwed.
Yeah. Also, some of the jumps don't make you move, some of them do, so if you're not paying 100% attention, you'll get yourself trapped in places you shouldn't be.
Now, you can use that to your advantage, too.
Yeah, and let's face it, everyone who's ever played Dragoon for a few minutes is going to elusive jump off of something by mistake, or on purpose. Or on a mistake. Yeah, I will not say I have not done that.
I hate you, Titan.
Yeah. Look, Dragoons have some terrible matchups, and I feel sorry for some of the fights that Dragoons have to deal with. But when a Dragoon is good, oh my god, is Dragoon going to carry you with its damage and its buffs it gives the party?
Yeah, Dragoon definitely feels like the all-rounder of DPS.
Mm-hmm. It's also got one of the better rotations, in my opinion, because it's not overly complicated, but you are doing things.
Yeah, it's... oddly enough, even if you took out the jumps, which I wouldn't, but...
No, do not take the jumps out.
No, I'm just saying...
Especially do not take out Starfire Dive.
Oh god, no, that's very pretty to watch. But if you say you didn't jump, just for an example, the rotation alone has you mobile that you're at least trying. It's not 100% necessary, but it keeps you on your toes where to be the maximized damage.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that. The only, like I said, the only major drawback is technically jump system as where it locks you in place or moves you.
Yeah, if you're not prepared for it, it is a huge downside.
A lucid jump, if you know there's plenty of room behind you, It's a lifesaver.
I kind of both miss and don't miss when elusive jump lowered your aggro.
I forgot I used to do that.
Yeah. If you got too much aggro, you could elusive jump yourself out of the combat to lower your threat. But because the game encouraged people to do that, people would do it more often, and then you remember some size of arenas. Sometimes I think the devs forgot Dragoon was a thing until Dragoon just shows up like, all right, I'm jumping in. Oh, wait, don't. Ooh,
I'm here for work,
nasty.
Yoshi P. Oh shit, you're in this game.
Yeah. So I honestly put Dragoon at the bottom of lots of fun or the top of no strong feelings.
Only for the nostalgia feeling and I love for the armor. I'm going bottom of lots of fun.
Right. I can work with that.
Next up, hold on a second.
Ninja,
I can't find it. Hold on. Where is it?
ninja, rap, ninja, rap.
One of these days, that shuriken's gonna hit you.
Yes, it is.
So
This is
this is
another
actually another interesting one because this was not introduced in a expansion.
It was supposed to be for Realm Reborn. They were a bit late for it, so it just came out in like 2.3, 2.4.
Yeah, Rogue got. I think it was 2.3. Rogue was introduced.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
and then it upgraded to Ninja.
yeah. Which I'm just gonna say this: I love the Rogue story, and I freaking love the ninja stuff.
Yes,
Solid stories all
there is
around.
only really for me. There's only one major drawback to Ninja.
Hmm?
Its weapons are too big.
Hey, you have daggers. That's not a dagger. That's a sword. You mean a short sword? No.
You have a kunai. No, that's a freaking dagger. Anyone who's
Behold,
ever seen a kunai knows that's way too big.
I have ninjato. Those aren't a real thing, and those are just straight up normal katanas.
Yeah, pretty much. Uh, and
That being said, though, they look really cool.
oh, the designs themselves are fine for a lot of them. I
Yeah.
understand some that are trying to go for more fantasy world feel. Some of them are a bit
But
more practical.
how do you conceal like 80% of these?
They fold up. Okay,
No, they
that
don't.
got me on that one. Um,
I hide them in my sleeves. They're longer than your arms. That explains why I'm walking around very awkwardly and bleeding a lot. But when it comes to the ninja armor, they go from the standard cloth outfits to the chainmail to the more fantasy chainmail stuff.
or
They look really
even
cool.
you can have it like you're more like an actual rogue.
Yep.
Like you're not a ninja. You're more like a rogue from a D&D party.
Yeah.
Or
Honestly, ninja's the only job I feel like if you glamour yourself into anything, I can believe it because a ninja should be able to disguise anything.
mm-hmm.
Which is why I never get too upset at the guy showing up in the whole frog suit and then pulls out two ninjas. I was like, aha, he was disguised as a theme park mascot. He's here to assassinate someone.
Oh my god. You just not to figure out what I'm gonna glamour my ninja for when I get that costume.
Oh, I knew you were going to do that Rob, before you knew you were going to do that.
I need Tonberry knives now.
I mean, there's a cooking weapon. There's a cooking knife that's that.
I know I use that for my chef.
Me too. It's just too cool looking. But when it comes to how the ninja plays in game, well, obviously you can't do stealth. So they do the ninja is a caster more than anything else. Yes, you're a melee up close stabby stab, but you also have ninja spells for the whole hand sign things.
Mm-hmm.
Which, while not real ninja, is ninja fantasy, which really works for me.
I mean, we're in a world where people throw fireballs, so let's not go too crazy and blaming them for that.
The idea that you can spit fire, or summon a giant frog to shoot oil that you spit fire on.
Or, just call out lightning and then just smacks him with a lightning hand.
Or make ice shurikens. You still have the ability to go invisible and stab someone in the back for a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And
You also have
ninjas.
one of the best abilities everybody wants, and that's to put weakness on the enemy.
Yeah, basically, Ninja has had a spot in everyone's party finder since it came out, and it's not going to lose its spot anytime soon. Do not take that from Ninja, because otherwise,
The fans will revolt.
yeah. So I'm all like, whenever I show up and there's a good ninja, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do a lot of good damage.
I
Yes,
do love the animations for Ninja too, though.
yes, just the Dragoon and can buff the entire party, as can kind of Monk. But because of how good weakening the boss is, a ninja is still better than a Dragoon or a Monk. In that sense, in terms of what the party wants.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's more only because the Dragoon has to pick a party member to buff.
It can't buff the whole party with battle latency, but the Dragon's Eye, it needs to pick a partner for.
Yeah.
But Ninja just giving a Volm up to the boss. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, especially it's kind of one of those weird things because battle litany hits the entire party. But here's the trade-off: it doesn't. If you're in a raid, it only affects your party. Ninja weakening a boss, the entire raid takes advantage of all 24 man.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Yeah. If not, well then it certainly feels like a.
I could be. I think that's how it works, but I could be wrong. But it
Regardless, it's still a
yeah.
better numbers thing. And I tend not to pay attention to numbers that much, but when I can notice shit like that, shit, that's satisfying. So I really want to put Ninja in lots of fun.
Ninja is going lots of fun.
Ahead of Dragoon, I want to say.
I'm putting it above White Mage.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Now we get to Monk.
This is not either one of our mains or
It's
even
also,
our
it's
secondaries.
It's also had so many goddamn facelifts.
Yeah,
I pity the poor. I pity the poor monk mains who like, aha! I finally gotten the hang of my monk job. In this patch, we'll be changing monks. No.
it kind of feels like you a machinist.
Honestly, no. I upset they changed machinist once, but I instantly got in the groove of it. But I know monk mains are like, what? There's nothing that works anymore.
Monk is your rapid fire DPS.
It's your JoJo reference, or if you're old enough, your Fist of North Star reference.
I prefer JoJo because I like the sound he makes better.
I prefer Fist of North Star, just because every single time he tears his shirt, and I'm like, you keep getting those.
Okay, but why though?
That and the Cell fighting him was so good. Anyway, yeah, it's the punchy punch, 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 punch.
I will say this: I do love the I love the attack animations for this more than I do Ninja.
Dragon kick, dragon kick, dragon kick.
It's a lot more mobile of an attack job than Dragoon is.
Which I hated because it had every single punch had to be in a different position. They've lowered the number of positions now, but my brain still thinks I have to be constantly running around punching like an idiot.
The only real I appreciate it for it being to make the job different, but it still feels a little convoluted. Is that this job doesn't have a kind of basic rotation? Each attack puts you in sort of a different attack stance, not in animation wise, but they just call it that, like Opo stance, Raptor stance, Coral stance. And then the next attack, it pops up depending on what stance you go into. So I appreciate the effort going into it. I just wait to see which one's activated on my hotbar. Just go with that.
Yeah. And you have to do, there's 3 base rotations. You have to keep switching between them to keep your buffs and your dot going. And it's just like, I get it. I do get it. And I get the appeal of it. I'm just fat thumbing it.
And for those of you who made Monk, good job, man. I think it's amazing you can actually follow all that.
To be fair, when a monk is good, they hit like a freight train.
Oh, God, do they ever.
And so if I'm tanking and I see a good monk show up and just murder the entire mob of monsters beating the crap out of me, I'm like, thanks.
There's only one really huge shortcoming of the monk. They're not suplexing a train.
God, no, I wish they were.
Like
that being said, though, I do love how they gave them Yoruichi's flash step as the thing for this expansion. They're just zipping around the arena. But you know what I hate the most about Monk?
What's that?
Okay, the bosses cast a giant AoE around them, and nobody can get near them. The Monk just has to sit there going, I've got no ranged attacks.
Yeah, you would think that they give it a Kamehameha, but he has to jump up and fire it down for an AoE attack.
Meanwhile, the samurai shooting energy beams from their sword, the ninjas throwing ninja stars, the reapers summoning dark orbs, and the dragoon just keeps pulling the lances out of its butt to throw at things. And the monk just has to sit there sucking out its thumb going, I need to punch. How do I punch from far?
Wait, if I don't jump and fire this way.
No, 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 I have to jump to do that, don't I? Uh, Now, when it comes to Monk's story, I hated the Monk story so much. The Punkalith story, I liked.
Yeah, Puglin's to a. The first part of the monk story was not that great. Only
Mm-mm.
because of the one character you had to deal with.
I wanted to take a goldsmith hammer and shove it right up that guy's nose.
At certain spots, it got better because he wasn't involved. It was just dealing with the other character, your
But I
actual
still
monk
didn't.
trainer.
But I didn't care much for him anyway.
No, but it was definitely a highlight for the monk storyline.
This is the job I jump potioned. Soul got so tired of me bitching about it, he just bought me a jump potion and showed me out, but I thank him for it.
I will actually, in my opinion, I would put this above Paladin in No Strong Feelings.
I'll give you that.
Because it's a solid job. I
Mm.
just I might have better feelings if I could follow the rotation on the fly without looking at my controller and
Mm-hmm.
figure out where everything has to go.
Yeah.
But because it's not for me,
Mm-hmm.
I just
I'm,
I
I'm giving it that because I do like a lot of the glamours. Because, you got your punch daggers, your fists, you got your tonfas,
yeah,
and
we
you
need to
got
talk
all
about the
your like,
weapons.
and then you got the really nice like monk art gear where you basically just show off your awesome hot pecs.
See,
Like the
that's where
font.
Rothgard Rogan really shine.
Oh God, did they ever?
You get great cheese on those things.
Uh,
But the monk weapons are hit or miss a lot
oh,
of times.
when they're good, oh God, they are good. When they're bad, why am I hitting you with two cubes?
I
I
like
think
the tea
Titans are so.
kettles.
The tea kettle ones are so dumb. I love them. I'm gonna put my hands into two boiling tea kettles and punch you with them. Doesn't that hurt your hands? Oh, it's gonna hurt you more. But yes, it does.
Ah! That's why I swing my hands so fast to cool them off.
That's not how physics work.
Tell that to my hands when they're punching you.
All right, now let's go to Monk's cousin from the other side of the world somehow.
The new greedy DPS.
Ah, Samurai, Stormblood's fine addition to the DPS range. DPS, the the cast of DPS jobs. I wanted to
This
say
is what
the
I
range
call
of.
the mini limit breaker.
Yeah,
Because when you hit with this thing's special abilities, it feels like a mini limit break. Or just a
they just
standard limit break, actually.
you know that thing in every samurai movie where the two samurai face off and they dash across from each other. That's the feeling this job almost always gives you.
Yes.
Or the samurai kneels down, slowly grips the handle of their katana, then draws. Yeah, you can do that like 3 or 4 times. It's so
This
good.
feels like what they were trying to go for with Monk. You got like 3 different rotations, but they're all set rotation. You're not trying to figure out which one comes next.
Yeah, they reward you for doing these rotations, so they want you to do all three.
Yes.
Not only do they give you a buff, they give you a light, or as the fan community calls it, a sticker. When you collect all 3 stickers in your sticker book, you get to do the epic crouch down, slowly draw your blade.
Ice
Flash.
forms around you as you hold still.
And then later on, they reward you by letting you do that again instantaneously.
I saw that. I'm like, must have.
Yeah. Samurai is definitely the hardest hitting, in my opinion, of the DPS.
If not, it's only being edged out ever so slightly, but I think it compensates by hitting more now.
Yeah. Like, we're not counting Black Mage. I mean, the physical DPS,
Yeah.
Samurai just like, it doesn't bring into the party besides, I'm going to kill everything around you. You should be grateful I'm here.
Yeah, and the outfits for samurai.
You have the standard Ronin robes and the big hat. Or you can have the general's proper armor.
My only regret is that there's a set of armor you would have for your house. That's a armor
Mm.
stand. But it's such beautiful samurai armor. I want it on my character.
there's something close to it, but it's not quite the same. And I every time Soul walks by that suit armor, he slows down his character just a smooch, and I don't blame him. I'm the kind of guy who prefers the samurai and the armor, the armor that's layered over on top of it like shingles, with the really cool, epic, scary mask. That's my idea of a samurai.
I
But I'm
have like
glad. I am
3
glad
ideas.
they
So
gave the wandering robes outfit with the
yeah.
big summer hat as well. Those
This
are
is the
nice.
job actually that I almost have 3 glamour plates just for what I'm whatever I'm in the mood for.
I don't blame you. There's just so many good styles for it. And the katanas, they're
Oh, the
so
katanas are
many.
beautiful.
And there's also Western versions of katanas with like fencing handles that you think that looks stupid, and then you see this sword and you're like, oh shit, that is sweet.
Oh, you know what that kind of reminds me of now that you said that?
Mm-hmm.
Remember Sword of the Stranger? The one guy had like the Chinese handle sword on his katana so he could
Mm-hmm.
spin it better.
Mm-hmm. That's what I feel like they're doing in 14. Is that the Warrior of Light or various blacksmiths are just experimenting with the katana.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, we're kind of weebs.
I don't know down here.
Yeah. So honestly, in my opinion, the samurai belongs in semi-perfect.
We have one last category to a talk.
Oh, it's a delightful story.
Oh God, this was
It's
heartstrings.
good. This was good. This was so good.
It
I loved all
starts
three.
out at the gladiator arena, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
And it's just that old man is so good.
Uh-huh.
Then his student is so good.
Oh yeah.
And then his going back to his memorial service, so good. It is just a good story. It's not the best, but I enjoy it. That's one of the reasons why I think this job belongs in semi-perfect.
I will give it Under the Warrior and Semi Perfect because I can't really find.
There's nothing to improve with it.
The only thing I would improve, and this is the tiniest of nitpicks.
Mm-hmm.
How do I want to put this? Is that armor? I want that armor stand for armor.
That's fine. I can't argue that. Like if that was in like the cash shop, I would have bought it for you in 5 seconds.
I would have bought it for me in 3.
Fair enough. And now for Reaper, the brand new melee job.
This is Samurai used to be my top tier. I would always go to this for DPS. Now it's
Same,
Reaper.
same. So before we even hint at anything, explain the job. It's going in something perfect below Warrior.
Yeah,
Also,
it's just
also we
I'm
have
not even pretending.
no. Also, we have to get this out of the way. He did the slice. He did the spooky slice. The spooky slice. Oh, thank you, Joe Crap. Thank you so much.
Oh
But
God, I
yeah,
love his
okay.
channel.
The gear for it. Hey, Soul, do you like Bloodborne?
Oh God, yes.
So, Soul, what do you think about scythes now?
This job, I like as a rabid Chrono Trigger fan. I was not big into sights, even though Magus was at moments the coolest thing in Chrono Trigger because he was the big bad guy that joined your party. Spoilers, I know, but the game's this old. You can kiss my ass.
I think it's nearing its 30 years old, Soul.
Christ, I feel old.
Yes. I'm just going to say this. Magus didn't make me love scythes. The Death Scythe did with its beam scythe, so I've always loved scythes.
Fair enough.
Okay, this job's animations in combat.
Oh,
How does
oh,
how does this job make you feel when you play it?
amazing. I remember seeing this thing being presented on stage,
Yep. Yep.
or I should say on my phone screen, because I was at work at the time.
How much did you loop that video?
I think I wore out the scroll screen on my phone.
I'm pretty sure I did the same thing for Sage, and I still think Reaper is good. I think Endwalker is probably the best in terms of here are your 2 new play toys. Ooh, these toys are amazing. I'm not tired of these toys at all.
And the fact that you get a void scent to fuse with, the
Yeah.
fusion alone. Oh,
hmm hmm And then we didn't mention this because most limit breaks are just kind of cool, but the end limit break,
quite possibly the coolest limit break in the game.
quite possibly yes. So Gonna admit it. We've got bias. We love Reaper.
Oh, and the shield I get for Reaper.
Oh, yeah, Reaper is not a selfish job, but it feels more on the lines of it's accidentally helping the party by buffing itself
So I
first. Like,
put a shield on myself. If that shield breaks, free regen for everybody.
like I said, it also has an ability where it makes the party hit a little bit harder, but the Reaper's doing that to get a buff from them. So it's like, I'm gonna buff you guys, but I'm doing it mostly for me.
Yeah. I just find it funny that the regen used to be so overpowered they had to debuff
But
that.
I think they gave the debuff of that back to Warrior for its now regen. Like they had to do something with it, so they just gave it to Warrior. Like, you know what I think it is? I think there's a Warrior main outside Yoshi P's office with the glowing red eyes just growing at him slowly. He's like, I keep giving him buffs and he won't go away.
Have you tried asking him running once? Are you
Have you
crazy? I'm
tried?
not going out there.
Have you tried talking to that man? No, I can hear him through three walls, so let's not.
Um, but the story is amazing for that too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, it's just
Good, good.
and the original story where the Reapers came from, that they were Garland assassins.
Yeah, the Reaper was so cool. It got its own dungeon.
Oh god, that's just amazing.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I keep meaning to go back and find out what the other ranks for that dungeon are, just because I'm
Oh,
curious.
I can link you a video for that later.
Please do, because I'm just curious what to say about the other ones. But I always imagine mine that my character went through and got the top rank only because I'm a
Yep.
weeb.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm hoping one day we get a warrior dungeon, so that's just me.
Um,
But yeah, we can't
the
sing the praise
only
for Reaper enough.
thing with that is some of the scythes are a miss for me.
There are a few. What the hell?
But then again, it's got one of the more fun chainsaw weapon adaptations, so I can't argue that.
That one's so dumb. I love it. I've moved on to the base Omega Scythe now myself, but
Yeah, I'm using the PvP one.
that one's still nice. So we should probably get on to the next category, the
Range
physical.
DPS.
Yeah, the range physical DPS, which is just three jobs, which started off with Archer and became Bard. I'll say this right off the bat. I like Archer and Bard's story. They're not like, oh wow, amazing. They're just like, I enjoyed that.
I'll admit, when I think fantasy, I always think of a bow for range. I never really thought of a gun yet until it's more like
Mm-hmm.
magical tech era, which is kind of fits into. But
But how do you feel about the Bards and Archer stories?
the story, I was
If you don't remember, you can admit that you're a big enough boy.
I don't the Archer one I kind of remember. I remember more about the Bard with your teacher being out in the woods. The Bard or the Archer I'm not 100% sure on. I was trying to
And then later on as a Bard, you become a teacher.
right. That I remember because you were going with the Dragon Song guys to find the
Song of Oblivion.
yes.
That's aged very well.
It's aged well. I just don't remember the Archer one.
The Archer one is just you're helping a girl who's being accused of being a poacher
Okay.
because of racism towards Keeper of the Moon Makote.
Okay.
I'm just generalizing. I'm pretty sure I got it a little bit wrong there.
Yeah. No, you could have told me it was about going to the moon, and I would have believed because I don't remember it all at all.
Mm-hmm. Now, the glamour for the Bard is very hit or miss, in my opinion. When it's good, oh yeah, that looks cool. When
Here's
it's bad,
the thing:
you'd look like a goddamn
you
clown.
kind of got your three options for a Bard, in my opinion, or Archer. You got the hunt out in the wild huntsman.
Hunt,
You got the musical Bard Archer, or maybe a spoony Bard. I couldn't help it.
I mean, to be fair, I'm wearing that jacket for my Bard outfit, only I dyed it black.
Or you got a sort of mixed bag with that.
Yeah, the mixed bag ones I don't like. You generally they look like clowns.
Yeah.
When you have a proper entertainer Bard, I like those. Some of them look really badass, actually.
And it ranges from simple entertainer you're doing this to get the attention to make us look at you, and it's working
Yes.
properly.
Yes. There's also a lot of the bows are either really cool, or I'm going to stick a harp here, a trumpet here, some cymbals on the bottom.
Yeah, you got one man stage-itis.
Yes. But then you've got the ones that are just a standard bow with like really cool quiver and a really cool arrow sticking out of it.
I
And
love the arrows where it's like the two prongs on them.
hmm
Um,
and a lot of those bows and arrows do look like they would be coated in, like the arrows look like they would be coated in poisons, which is the job's main damage mechanic,
yeah,
which works. I do like the idea of a stage performer killing you slowly with poisons.
yeah.
It,
And
it
then
does,
also with, I mean, you're a bard. Obviously, you're going to perform.
which buffs the party, which I like the idea of that.
Yeah. The only problem currently is that they lost the ability to regen our MP or give us MP back.
That's been gone for a while now, and I will always miss that. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, my friend.
That kind of gave, like, I know the buffs are nice, but giving back MP to a healer when they need it desperately, or, like, I don't need it as desperately as a black mage, but having that ability to cast an extra fireball spell, I will never turn down.
If we find out the reason why they did that is just because Black Mage would be overpowered, then give Black Mage a debuff that prevents them from getting that from the Bard. There, solved.
I mean, it's not really that, like, that's even a question, because if I go in Ice Dance, it's like, I'm going to have all my MP back in a few seconds anyway. What's one more fireball spell?
Yeah. So, gameplay-wise, I still kind of like Bard, but it's definitely my least favorite of the three ranged DPS.
I am not big into the ranged DPS. I will admit to that.
It's my main category for damage.
It's I can play them all right. I know how to use them, but they're just not for me.
That's fair.
So this is honestly either going to be high on no strong feelings or probably mid-tier lots of fun.
I will compromise for you and put it at the top of no strong feelings. That's being weird.
Yeah, I know. Glad you were seeing that too. I'm like,
there you go.
Okay.
Now we just have to make sure Nem doesn't kill us.
Well,
our third of our...
I am closer. She's going to aim for me first.
Yeah. Our third of our in-game group is that's her main Bard.
Yeah.
And she's good as a Bard, and I can see why she likes Bard. It's just...
Yeah, she does it solidly, but again, to be fair, this is me and M going on this list.
Yeah. Now we're going to go to Machinist, which is my main. It's the job I play the most. That being said, though, I would never put it in semi-permanent. I love the job. I play it a lot, but I'm not going to put my bias in semi-perfect.
I will say this. A lot of the guns are a miss for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of really bad ones. Now, there's a lot of great ones, but there are more... I get they're going for fantasy guns, but I'm like, this is stupid. Where's the barrel? How do I hold this?
The weird thing it feels like Machinist was built in Ishgard to make a practical weapon for the commoner and the militia. Some of these weapons don't feel practical to me.
No, there's one that's just 3 Gatling guns on a normal handgun handle. I'm like, the fuck? Like, normally I like ridiculously fun things, but a lot of these are just like, okay, if this was a real gun, the recoil would probably shatter my arm. Or, if this is a real gun, how would you aim it?
I mean, I think I'm still using the one that's kind of like Vincent's gun, which is just like a magnum with an oversized barrel.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying I need practicality with my guns, but...
No.
I need something more than... I'm not sure I'm holding this gun the right way.
One of my favorite guns is the one you get from Bahamut, where it looks like it's like a grenade launcher. I also still like the one I got from Delta Escape, which is one I used for the longest time. I like the dragon head, that's the relic weapon from Heavensward. But almost every relic gun I hate. The Bozja final stage relic gun is just a shotgun. That's it. It's a glowing shotgun. I'm not the Doom Marine. I don't want a shotgun. That guy gets all the shotguns. He's claimed them. I'm not arguing with him.
The outfits are...
They're a mixed bag. They either go for a mechanic or a gunslinger feel. You get one choice or the other for relic gear. I prefer usually the mechanic-looking style. But I'm a sucker for goggles I can put on my head or on my face. So
Yeah.
having the option where I can just visor up the goggles, or, oh no, it's serious time, goggles down.
I just have one thing to say about their abilities going in and out.
Hmm?
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah, I'm so glad they gave back disassemble. Just like how Ninja has one ability that debuffs the enemies so they take more damage, the Machinist can now debuff the enemy's attack power just as well. Because, so everyone's just like, hey, Machinist, we need you so we get hurt less. You're welcome. But the fantasy of this job is a gunslinger who invents things on the fly, and I do think the job does that.
And you're not firing bullets, you're firing like bullets. I
Yes,
guess
you're
would be the best
making
way to put it.
the thing on your hip converts your energy into bullets, which is then transferred into your gun, which is why you get to do like weird bullets that float in midair and then fly out. The animations are so
But I will
cool.
never get sick of the idea there's just a random mechanic out there just throwing a wrench at Bahamut.
You can't do that. You do Bahamut synced though.
I know, but just let me have that.
That's fair. I also love the whole. I can make a floating flying turret, but instead I'm going to upgrade it into a robot that punches you in the face. By the way, it has a giant impactor, like a huge impact device on its arm, like a giant stake, it just fires into things. It also has my second favorite limit break, which is where you just summon a giant laser beam on sight.
Oh my
That
god! I remember when we fought Proto Ultima weapon. I was
oh
gonna
yeah,
summon it as like wait, guys. I think I glitched out. Oh, it's going away. Scared me for a minute. I thought Big Brother was watching.
that being said, though, she has gone through a lot of reworks too. The heat gauge and the wildfire. A lot of people still don't like that, and I don't blame them. I've gotten the hang of it. I like where it is now, but I still preferred Stormbloods, where I had to manage the heat like an engineer, making sure the gun is just leveled until it's time to overcharge things and just melt things.
Yeah, honestly, I don't spend a lot of time because I'm not big on the gauges for this job.
Mm.
So I can pop into this job. I can do it decently,
Mm.
but I'd rather do a bard or a dancer than this job.
That's fair. For me, my biggest problem with Machinist is not only do I have no AoE means of generating battery for my robot, but my robot doesn't do AoE damage. So I feel like, should I be summoning her in AoE packs? It feels like a waste if she's only going to punch one thing.
Yeah, I can see it.
I don't mind. I like the flamethrower. I like the shotgun for AoE damage. I like the crossbow for AoE damage. But the three are separate from each other. They don't really cooperate. There's no rotation. So some people hate that. I don't, but I do get it. I also do like the whole, I have a poison canister now where I get to poison the entire group. Because I like the machinist mechanics are you can do this or this. And you need to choose what you need to do on the fly. Usually it's just, do I do the single or AoE versions, which is fine.
Yeah, it's different enough, but it gives a simple pattern.
It does give me the job fantasy of I'm on the fly inventing or trapping my own way out problems. I'm MacGyvering my way through shit.
I do miss my cheeseburger, though.
Yes, the cheeseburger tank was good. That turret was good. He's back now for PvP only, so.
So, where would you put him in?
For me, I always put it at the top of lots of fun. But where would you put it?
I do enjoy a good mech. So, I will put it just beneath Ninja.
I will accept that. Not where I would put it, but this is our teamwork.
Because there's a lot of versatility in its abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Poisoning something's always useful.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Ninja has a lot more better glamour and weapons, design-wise.
I'll give you that.
But there's a versatility there that almost goes toe-to-toe with Ninja.
Yes.
Especially with the wrench and poisoning and, like I said, and some of the other
You
abilities.
love the wrench more than I do.
I'm sorry. I just love the idea that of all the things you could do to this monsters, you decided to throw a wrench at it.
Do you even know the sound effect it makes when it throws a wrench?
It plays in my head every time I mention it.
Okay, then I am completely happy with how much you love the wrench.
Okay,
Now,
so our third ranged DPS.
the dancer.
Yeah.
Gotta say, I do love dancer. It's when I don't feel like being thinky, I pick dancer.
I I do like the idea of using the chakrams.
Yeah, the
I
closest thing we're gonna get to boomerangs too. So,
yeah,
trust me.
but a lot of the chakram designs are a miss for me.
Yeah, I can see that. There's a few one I don't understand how you catch them, but when the chakrams are good, they're pretty.
I'm surprised they didn't go with the basic chakram though, like Xena's.
I guess they just didn't want Lucy Lawless to fly in there and kick their asses. Xena can't fly. I keep telling you, I'm Lucy Lawless.
But I
The actual the outfits though, I like how they are evenly sexualized in my opinion. That they're both you get a really sexy guy or a really sexy woman.
mm-hmm.
They didn't make just the girls sexy, which is good. They said they weren't going to do that, and they kept to it. The girls do wear a little bit less, but um, again, good God, you can break meat on
Well,
those.
here's the thing, and this is not a sexist thing. This is just an honest opinion thing. A guy can go shirtless. A lady can't. So when they go less, you kind of notice it more. In my opinion.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. A lot of places do make that illegal. Some places
So
don't. Which
I'm just saying, like that's the first thing. I was like, well, you say she's wearing less, but technically she's wearing more, but she has to cover more. Otherwise, you would call her indecent.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying anything one way or the other. I'm just really saying that's the first thing that comes to mind when I hear that argument.
Fair enough. What do you think of the actual animations though for the job?
It really feels like the kind of compared to something else, capoeira. It really feels
Mm-hmm.
like fighting incorporated into a dance.
Yeah.
Like it's very fluid motions. It's a dance.
There's a lot of energy to a lot of these movements. There's some pointless little hops too that are just kind of cute, like you're just hopping up to get your legs ready, or just psych yourself up to do a dance.
And you see some of that in capoeira too, with their
Yep.
basic stance where they move out to get ready to do a kick or a spin or whatever they call it. I'm not sure.
It's what they call it is getting you knocked on your ass.
Yeah, that works.
I like the energy, like them shooting a giant energy peacock. Peacock blast.
And I would complain that getting the flower tokens, as I call them,
Fan
is
tokens. It's randomized. I get that.
yeah.
You can
So
kind of force them, but it's not reliable enough. What I do love is how when you partner with someone, the more damage they do, the more it feeds energy back to you, so you can do the saber attack, which fucking love that.
I
And when you
would
buff
love to if there's ever a way to like crack the code and bring back certain mechanics we liked. Have the monk with all of its 4 stacks of
oh god,
give it an arrow card,
oh god,
and then have it link to a dancer.
all the saber dances. But I also love how when the dancer buffs the entire party feeds the saber dance thing, so you actually can be overcharging on saber dances. You're just like, ah, I have to throw all these saber dance attacks out. How am I? Huh?
Because
Like
that is
dancer is the ultimate. I help you job.
yeah,
You
because it
help
can
me
give a
job.
shield to its partner.
Mm-hmm. No,
Uh,
it can heal its partner, and when it heals its partner, everyone around the partner gets healed, and you get healed. So if you and the partner stand on top of each other and stand on someone really injured, you super heal them like they're a goddamn white mage, and then you can just run away from them. Like the bard buffs the entire party with the song, but when the dancer buffs somebody, they're like super buff somebody.
yeah. Um,
Usually, what I've seen a lot of times is black mages and samurai arguing who gets to be the dance partner. And in some situations where I've seen that, I'm like, I'm gonna buff the Dark Knight instead, just to piss both you guys off. And the Dark Knight's just standing there going, "Aw, somebody likes me." It's a very mindless job. Like basically you just see things light up and you push them. It's like you're playing
yeah,
Simon.
it's not a
But
complicated job, but at the same time,
they complicate it with RNG,
yeah. I mean,
which
it does hit really hard with this dances though.
yeah, if you're not careful, you're gonna get the attention of everything around you, and it is squishy.
Yeah, but then again, you're really wearing like a lot of cloth armor, so I would hope you'd be squishier.
Yeah, which is why I love it has like a straight up dash attack to get away from things. Like, it doesn't do any damage; it just dashes away. Like there's been many situations where I did a dance and I accidentally attracted an entire nearby fate, and I'm like, oh crap, run away!
Dancer, will you please stop having a dash off with the monk?
No, never. I love that video from Drag. No, my speed is the superior one.
Guys, the boss is the other way.
So for me, Dancer is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. Even I pick it up and enjoy it. And
You know what? I would put it above Machinist.
honestly, because of how simple it is and the heavy hitting of the dance and how it can help the party with healing, I would
will
actually
agree.
put it right above Ninja.
All right, I agree with that.
Only because it can heal, buff defense, do a serious amount of damage, and the cooldowns are not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Ninja has the overall better glamours,
Yeah, I can go with that.
but it's only because, as you said, ninjas can disguise themselves as anyone, so you can kind of get away with it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But when you see a good ninja glamour, you see a good ninja glamour.
Or don't.
Wait, where?
Bum 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 bum.
Okay,
All
now
right.
we're on to our magical DPS.
The casters.
First up,
So
Summoner, who actually has some of the biggest reworks.
yeah, I honestly, well, I did enjoy its poison mechanic it had before. I think it now fits the idea of being a summoner
Yeah,
better.
it was not.
It wasn't a summoner before. It was a plague mage
Yeah,
with a garnish of Bahamut and Phoenix in it. Now it literally rolls almost entirely around the idea of I summoned the powers of gods to smite you. But my god, is its rotation so brain dead right now?
I
You push one
really.
button that changes every time you change elements.
Yeah, I really kind of think this is where 11 was the superior MMO with its summoners,
I've heard that.
because you literally summon the god to help you in the fight,
You do
not
that
just summon
now,
them, have them do an attack, and then kind of fuck off.
but yeah, that's all they pretty much do. Except for Bahamut and Phoenix, they stick around for a few seconds at least.
Yeah, I mean, carbuncles are cute. I will not deny this. You'll
We
never
still
hear
need
me
to see
say a carbuncle is not cute.
we still need to see a carbuncle with a tomberry riding onto it into battle. Give it a tiny little lance, but at the end of the lance, the chef's knife.
Hey, don't forget the air raid of the Moogles carrying the Tom berries.
Oh yeah, that was a crazy idea we had once. Summoner, it like we've said, it shares a lot of book weapons with Scholar, which really hurts it in my opinion.
I will never
And
not stop laughing at the idea of beating Xenos by walking over and beating him to death with a book.
what book are you using? War and Peace. That being said, though, I do also get a kick out of what Larry's are coined as the Summoner Dong on your head. Like, I honestly think the Scholars like outfits are cooler than the Summoners, but the Summoners are slightly more iconic. So take it as leave.
I will say the one thing I like about the books is that at least there's differences in the pages inside when you open the book.
Yeah, there are some differences, and there's even some differences among different glamours.
But
That's about it.
yeah,
The
I'm
book,
not crazy about bringing the books into battle, honestly.
I get what they're doing with them. They're using them for geometric drawings to create summonings, but just because you get something, you understand something, doesn't mean it's not lame.
I mean, what happens if someone sets your book on fire?
What happens if there's a stiff breeze and it changes pages you're reading?
What if it did that mid
What if
summoning?
that?
Would you get like half a summon on one page and half a summon on the other?
Oh God! I created a tight with Gerda's tits. Kill me. Oh, never mind. Ifrit's inside that thing too.
I mean, would you summon? Oh God, you would summon the boss from Eden.
Oh yeah, the Eden versions. Oh shit, Ramu is hot again. And that's another thing. I wish there were more eggy glamours.
Oh God, I would use Ramu and just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a floating beard.
Like I like where it is now. I do have fun with it. But it is the brain dead job, caster job
Yeah.
now,
Let
isn't
me
it?
ask you this though: do you enjoy running up and smacking people with a fiery book?
Yes, yes, I do. Flaming uppercut.
Falcon punch. Shit, I'm not the captain.
Yeah, I don't know where to put this though because it's.
For me, and maybe this will help you decide.
Hmm.
Only because it really found its identity, even if it was later on.
I can agree to that, except for I'd put it above Astro. Does that work for you?
I can agree with that slightly. I can work with that.
Like if it was the old summoner from Shadowbringers back, it definitely would be just ahead of Paladin.
I think I think they're touch and go with this, on my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I would definitely put it above Gunbreaker because at least
Mhm.
as it currently is, Summoner at least has his identity of summoning.
The story for Summoner is pretty fun too, but nothing really to write home about.
I mean, you do at least meet.
You still have a sister, yeah.
Yes, I can't think of her
That,
name now. Still bugs
you
me.
meet Tra.
Ah, thank you.
She's pretty much the best thing about that. Like I don't hate any of the characters in it. I like the idea of the story. It just isn't presented in a way that maybe jive with a lot.
Yeah. But now we bring you the Black Mage.
Uh, Hang on, Soul. I'm getting a call from Yoshi P. He says it belongs in semi-perfect, or he's going to delete our jobs.
Shit. Okay, going on.
I don't want to put it there though.
But no, this is Yoshi's P's favorite job.
It's his main, and the community does make a lot of jokes that he does tend to overbuff it, especially in PvP. Remember that when it first was in PvP for a
Oh
while.
God.
Oh, for me, I I have no strong feelings. Like it belongs at the top of no strong feelings for me. Just outright, that's where I'm going to tell you where it belongs. I like where the glamour is. The story's okay. I don't care for too many of the wands, but the gameplay itself, I just couldn't get into it.
I for me, I loved being a turret
I just don't
because
like being a turret that much.
well, no. Here's the funny thing: it's a bit of a challenge.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's not. Like, as someone who started when Machinist was also a turret back in the Heavensward days, I got the whole I need to stand at a good spot to do this. I just didn't care for it.
Fair enough. But after playing Dragoon and had to move around so much,
Mm-hmm. No, I understand
and
that.
having this new challenge presented to me, and then blowing everything up, and then getting flare, and then getting stuff that's better than flare, I was like, "Ooh, I am
I mean,
powerful."
there is a certain amount of joy you get as a tank moving the boss away just right so the black mage is safe where they are so they can, put down their ley lines, get out their comfy chair, sit down, and then just lay waste to everything around them.
But we forgot. Oh, that reminds me, we forgot something very important about Summoner.
But,
They are the greatest healers in the game.
oh yeah, they are.
They had,
That's why they're head of Astro, in my opinion.
but they had to take away healing away from Black Mage because
Yes.
at 200 HP at level 80 was so important.
You know,
But
but yeah, Black Mage's ability to just vomit up all their MP and then switch to ice and have all their MP back and do it all over again. I do get that. I do like that.
it's just, and then using thunder as a bleed damage, and then having it click and doing it again for the full damage you would have gotten for all 10 clicks, and just continuing it on.
Yeah.
If you can get really lucky with this, sometimes you could do massive damage in either a single target or groups. It was kind of it was a bit of an all round trickster in that regard. You're
Yeah.
either damaging one target a lot or targeting a group a lot.
It
So
hits, but it balances out by being literally as bad as defensive as a soggy saltine
it's a
cracker.
glass cannon. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
Like,
It brings also zero utility. It has stuff that protects itself, like, oh god, I'm squishy. But it does not help the party besides, oh hey, the Black Mage decided
and
to
it can
just
put most enemies to sleep.
the Black Mage decided to just terraform the entire arena around them, killing everything besides us. Thanks, Black Mage. You guys were here.
So
There's one thing I have noticed with black mages. They tend to ignore the entire rest of the party. Like if the party is running for their lives, the black mage is like, "Why is everybody running? What's going on?"
and they are really, really stubborn about their ley lines.
Stand and fire, DPS higher. Healers adjust. Or that adorable meme of someone rescuing a deer, but the deer has a black mage man icon over it, and the deer runs back into the pool.
My ley lines.
Yep. Like when a black mage is stubborn about their only lines, they will get everyone around them
So
killed.
this is going to be. I can only think of two spots I would put it:
Okay.
top of no strong feelings, or
Hmm.
just above dragoon in lots of fun.
I would put it. I'll give it this. Let's put it below dragoon.
I think that's a happy medium.
It's not for me, but I so understand people's love of it.
Being able to blow everything up is just too much fun.
And now we get to the final job.
Please don't fire us, Yoshi P. I'm kidding. If I was working for Yoshi P, I'd be a lot happier of a man.
I'm pretty sure he would care more for you. So, Red Mage, the final job. The actual jack of all trades.
I will say this one. I'm never big on rapiers. I understand the purpose. I know that they're a really useful melee weapon. They're just not for me.
That's fair. I'm actually quite fond of rapiers. But I might be more fond of characters who use rapiers. I'm not sure where that begins, where that ends. You know what I mean?
I do enjoy the Three Musketeers, so I can't deny that.
Zorro.
Another prime example.
Wish Snee from Ruby. I do like her.
Yeah, I can see that one as well.
So, Red Mage. It is a caster, but it can also, for a few seconds, be a melee DPS, which I like that idea.
This
Red Mage-
is a very good example of a combination job. It's almost a little bit like Blue Mage
Well, yeah.
in the regards that it has things from Black Mage and White Mage, and kind of smushed it together and gave him the ability to quick cast.
Yep. Red Mage, there are so many times where everything starts falling apart, and then you remember there's a Red Mage in the party, or as they're sometimes known as a Raise Mage.
Yeah, it's
There's
literally the only other job besides a healer that can cast
And,
raise.
and Summoner. Summoner
I've
can
got
do it,
Yeah.
but everyone forgets it. But Red Mage, he can do it instant. They can do it almost rapid fire.
I think that's why a lot of people forget summoners can do it, because the Red Mage literally has the ability to do it instantly, repeatedly. Summoner
Sure,
only gets Swift cast once for and it's got to wait for the cooldown for that one.
Yeah, and the current rotation for Summoners is to use your Swift Cast to do either your E-Free attack really fast or your Garuda Puddle really fast, which oftentimes leads to oops. But Red Mage, even if Red Mage has used their Swift Cast, they just need to quickly cast Jolt, which is their fastest spell and their lowest costing spell. One Jolt, someone's up. Jolt, someone's up. Jolt, someone's up. I had to get back some MP.
And the other thing is that it can also attack and heal at the same time, doing that exact same thing.
It has a decent cure ability, with Vercure is not great, but how many times have you been hit with a couple of Vercures in the middle of a combat situation? You're like, oh, thank you, Savior Red Mage.
Probably more than I realize.
Probably more than everyone realizes. As someone who, as a Red Mage, will heal after he reses someone because the White Mage is too busy trying to keep the tank alive, or is that oblivious?
Because to be
Hello,
fair,
hello, last few times through 24-man raids.
Yeah, because to be fair, if I'm noticing it, either there's not a lot going on, and he's just trying to get everybody back up to snuff, or I'm petrified trying to stay alive with the boss deciding to pound my face in.
Yeah.
So,
And Red Mage also has Magic Barrier now, which lowers magic damage, and it lowers damage you take from enemies and increases your healing rate. So that's a big help.
oh Christ, that's the other thing about Dark Knight we didn't mention.
Oh yeah, it's Dark Missionaries.
Magic only.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's and lots of fun. But going back to Red Mage, it also has as Emboldened, which buffs everyone's attack power. It also can instantaneously go to its attack mode with Modification. For me, Red Mage is just it shows up prepared to do what the party needs.
Yeah.
It's the only thing Red Mage cannot do is tank. It has caster squishiness. That being said, though, it is the most mobile caster because it can just backflip away from shit. Oh shit! I
Yeah.
backflipped off the cliff.
Oh, hi, Dragoon. Nice meeting you down
Uh,
here.
I came down to rescue you. Oh, thanks. Thud, thud.
But
For
I
for
will say
me,
this: it's
mhm,
definitely one of the best ideas they've had for what to do with
mhm.
Red Mage. Rather
I
than just having
also,
a job saying, "Hey, listen, you just cast these both abilities. That's it."
mhm, yeah,
No, they made it a bit more dramatic and flairful,
which
and
works. The glamours suit that style too.
yeah,
You look
it.
like a swashbuckling hero.
Yeah, I was gonna say a swashbuckler or a musketeer of that
Mhm.
motif.
You you look like someone who'd ride in on a horse into a small village and save the day. You look like a Crimson Avenger.
Yep.
And
Um.
the rapiers for me are all over the place for me. Like the rapiers, I like a lot of rapiers, but I hate the magic stone that comes with them. I like the magic stone. I hate this rapier. I wish you could like mix and match them.
Yeah, I do like the idea that when you cast spells, you put the crystal on the bottom of your sword and use that like a staff.
That's really cute. That's a
That's a
really cute
very
idea.
good idea. I do like that.
I like the way they hold the crystal while it floats.
Um,
The animations for casting, like the actual using the crystal when you your
yeah,
hand out to shoot lightning,
and you
and
actually do use the rapier for more than just as a wand, which is nice. You actually go in,
do the whole
slash,
Zoro swish.
swish, 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 and then backflip away.
Yep.
Like the
It,
backflip is more than just a maneuver; it's also an attack when you're
yep.
close range.
And you do have an attack that zips you close. And if you don't want to backflip away, you can still do an attack up close. That's free.
I do like how you do like that energy beam connection, like Samus's
Mm.
beam thing to pull yourself in.
Yep, the grapple beam.
Yeah,
I love, and the thing is, the goal of the DPS is to keep casting white space spells and black base spells until you get to 50-50. Then you go in for a combo that's supercharged, and then you can cast 3 powerful spells, either Verflare Verholy, Scorch, and then Vermilion, which is just a giant rose you shoot out.
so it's definitely got the flair. It's got a very good storyline, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, where you actually get to help rebuild, in a sense, the Crimson Duelists. The teacher of the Red Mage Quest is a wonderful guy. Like a lot of people freaking love him. He he and you basically keep going like, well, I know someone who can help in this situation. Like I also know someone who can help in this situation. Oh, we've both met this person. And we've both helped them. So he's just as nice as your main character, as your warrior flight.
And
And
then
it's
there's
cannot,
what's her name?
it's
I can't think of her name.
yeah, I don't remember her name. She's a Game of Thrones reference. And then you also find out that the teacher, I can't pronounce his name, it starts with an X, is Alice's Red Mage teacher.
Huh?
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
yeah. So he's just a great guy, and the story itself is pretty interesting. I mean, it involves cults and vampires in a sense. It's fun.
Cults.
It's fun. So for me, Red Mage has to go at the bottom of semi-perfect. It just does it all.
I'll give it to you at least. For me, it'd be either just below Dark Knight
Mhm.
or just above Samurai. So I'll give it to just below Samurai.
Yeah, that sounds perfectly fine to me. Damn, that's a handsome-looking list.
Yeah,
I expected more and could be better though.
I
Could be
think
better.
what it is that the only thing that could be better that I would possibly move would be Paladin.
Yeah, it could be a little bit. It could be lower, but I like it teetering on no strong feelings.
But the reason for no strong feeling is that it does its job too well.
Yeah, it really.
Like,
It, when you
could
play it, you are a holy knight. You get that feeling. I can't
if
take that away from it.
if the bloated use UI continued, it would have fell down. Could be better.
Yep.
The only thing really holding Paladin back is the story at the start.
God, because it's so bad. It's just so bad. Like everyone else's story, that's just meh. Doesn't really do as
Yeah,
much damage.
but with its own healing abilities, heal yourself, the party, The early version of shielding other players,
Mm-hmm.
and the best ability of the tanks for self-preservation.
Yeah, Hollow Ground is just too good.
Yeah.
The only thing that comes close is the Warriors' Home Gang, and that's just because Home Gang is on such a shorter cooldown. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all it's really got going for it.
Um.
In fact, it used to be even worse when Home Gang needed a target.
Yeah. Um. Maybe Monk could be better if we put Paladin down, but Monk.
If it was the Monk before Endwalker, yes.
Yeah, we're talking about the current job, and a lot of jobs have gone through a lot of rework.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Like Gunbreaker does not belong. Could be better. Like there's no way that would fall back there unless next expansion it's got extreme button bloat
yeah,
or even squishier.
Old Astro, I think would have gone with lots of fun.
I can give you that because I preferred the card mechanic. The card mechanic confused me, but I liked it.
Yeah, it would probably fall in between Dragoon and Black Mage or behind Black Mage.
Yeah, I can
The
go with
old
that.
Astro.
Yeah.
Like there was room for a good amount of improvement, but it was where I wanted it.
Old Summoner would have been weaker, but would still be in no strong feelings. And Bard just belongs right in the middle, in my opinion. Like smack dab in the middle. I like it, but I'm not crazy about it.
Dark Knight, I feel, got stepped up. Original Dark Knight, because it was always all focused on magic, probably would have fell down to at least halfway down that list.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I don't think it would have fallen into No Strong Feelings, but it probably would have slid down at the current list. It probably would have fallen down to behind Gunbreaker. Or not Gunbreaker, Machinist.
Yeah. Warrior, without Nascent Flash and its current Shake It Off, would be in lots of fun, but would be at the top of lots of fun, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just those two abilities alone, with his ability to heal so much of the party so fast, I'm sorry, it's just the best tank.
Here's the thing. If you take away all that healing abilities, I think it would have dropped down to somewhere near Machinist.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But
because it still does a solid amount of damage. It's still got plenty of defense buffs.
Yeah, it's still really stupidly hard to kill.
Yeah.
Which is what you want in your tank. You want your tank to be the guy who's just like, why won't you die? Why won't you die?
I mean, the reason Blackest Night works so well is that it's only 3,000 MP and it's a 15-second cooldown. This was meant to be abused.
It was. It really was. Especially since you can throw it on other party members.
And then when that pops, you get an extra power attack to give yourself a continued 20% damage boost. Well, I say 20%, but I think that's a different number. But
whatever,
you're still getting a damage boost regardless.
Yeah. But when it comes to the melee DPS, I don't think there's any way we could change them.
The only thing that might have changed was if we were talking old Dragoon, like the original starting.
Oh yeah, it was so slow with its jumps.
It probably would have gone down to either to the bottom of those strong feelings, or even in the could be better.
Yeah.
Because it was so locked into place.
I forgot how slow it was until until it just popped back in.
Yeah. Ninja never really had that many reworks except for a few things to tweak for the mudras because of lag, delay, and other shit like that. That's unavoidable with an MMO in most cases.
You never know when your internet will act up.
Yeah, so I feel like that's kind of an unfair comparison.
Yeah. It's there's a difference between design slowness and accidental slowness.
Yeah. It's not like it's something that they can really work out because everyone's internet and other issues arise. So I think Ninja would have been where it was, maybe slide up or down a spot or two.
Yeah.
But it still would have stayed in lots of fun.
Yep.
Especially with a lot of its designs. The weapons are still way too big, but I think
the armor glamour is just too nice, though.
Yeah, I think half that is so that you can always see the weapon, so you can see the nice designs on it.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I would hate someone to work, 20 hours on 2 swords and then we shrink them down and you can't see the details. Like, that sucks.
I mean, the kunais that your character use have a nice, intricate designs on them. But picture they're the actual size what kunais are supposed to be. We'd never see half the design.
Yeah, I'd love them more though, but currently my kunai look like they belong to a Rogan.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. They're still way too big, but I kind of, I think I kind of see what they're trying to let you see them for it.
Yep.
Old style white mage, back when it was original.
Would have been actually higher in my opinion because it's even more powerful back then.
Yeah, but I think the only reason they lowered a little bit is because they gave you more options for regen.
Yeah, that's true. So it would have stayed in lots of fun regardless.
So I think it might have split up more towards Sage, just because of how powerful it was.
Yeah, and how much MP was not an issue.
Yeah.
Rather than it be like use Thin Air and you have a free ability, it was use Thin Air, 15 seconds of free MP.
Sweet Jesus.
Yes. So you combine Thin Air with Swift Cast Regen, it's still really good. But before it was, you could do 2 regens. Not regens, reses for free.
Yeah. I think Samurai never really had too much work done on it, so it probably would have stayed in semi-perfect.
Yeah. Yes. And Reaper, well, it's new.
Yeah. I think the most rework I got done was my shield buff being reduced. So the regen on the party is less than
and a little bit of attack power up too.
Yeah,
because it was hitting a little bit weaker than they thought it would be.
But it just the design and the overall glamours, just too nice to pass up.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bard would have gotten slotted up even farther if it had this MP or
if any of the ranged physicals could restore MP, they would have all gone up at least one spot, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I think it would have gone from no strong to at least gotten up into lots of fun.
Yep.
For me, it still would have been below Black Mage, but it's only because I mained Black Mage for a while rather than.
That's fair. That's very fair. I can agree with that too. But like I said, if any of them or all of the ranged physicals got the MP regen, boost them each by one spot forward.
At least.
Yeah.
Sage is still the new healer on the block.
But it still feels, the niche it fills is so satisfying. The aggressive healer.
If it was.
I heal, but I also attack.
The only thing stopping him from going to semi-perfect is that, number one, it's still the new kid on the block, but unlike Reaper, it feels a lot more limited in its design of its weapons.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them, despite trying to be different, feel like they're putting the same mold casting, just with slightly different materials. Like one was made with iron, one was made with crystals, but you still tell they're still kind of the same design.
Which is, I get that. I don't see it myself, but I can see why you would.
I mean, that's common with all of them. It just feels like, I think because Sage is still one of the newer kids in the block, and
they're not willing to experiment quite yet with weapons.
Yeah. I maybe it's like you said, it could just be me and just what I'm seeing.
Yep.
And I just haven't seen a lot of the Sage weapons per se, but it feels like they got like 5 designs. And they just changed the materials used to make those 5 designs. Red Mage was another one that didn't really have that many changes as far as I can remember.
They've just made it Verflor or Verholy now AoE damage.
Okay.
That's it. They've just made it hit harder for AoEs, which is all we ever wanted for it. The only thing now it's missing, in my opinion, is an AoE heal.
I don't think it'll ever get that. Otherwise, it's...
No, it'd be too powerful then, in my opinion.
A
man can still dream though.
Yeah. If someone got back some of its dots or some other edges,
I think what's gonna happen is for 7.0 they're gonna introduce a caster that's all about poisons.
Yeah. I'm just saying if they ever got their poisons back or some more eggies, it might get bumped up to either top of the No Strong Feelings or just the bottom of Lots of Fun. It feels like because they're trying to focus on the 3 main summons, Titan, Ifrit, Garuda.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
almost
definitely.
feels like they're somewhat limiting your summoning.
They are kind of limiting themselves with those three. You are very much right. I was thinking the same thing not too long ago.
So it feels like because of that, it's going to be stuck in those strong feelings.
Yeah. Either they expand on those three like they've expanded with Ifrit and not Ifrit, Bahamut and Garuda, Bahamut and Phoenix, or add more summons.
Yeah.
And you have to choose.
Because when it was originally there, you would choose the Eggy, and it would
Garud-
have like Titan used to be a tank, Garuda was your AoE, and Ifrit was your single target damage.
But I also do prefer them not being able to die now, because having to manage them at sometimes was kind of annoying, because you had to go, if you wanted to do the most damage at times, you wanted Ifrit, and he would stand in AoEs. Oh my god, he would stand in AoE. You're...
But
And sustain was such a terrible way of keeping them alive.
yeah, I mean,
I like this. I think this is a pretty solid list.
I think it's about as fair as we're gonna be. I
Yeah.
can't really.
There's a few I would personally do higher or lower than you, but I'm glad we actually came to a nice,
Mhm.
agreement on this.
I think we fairly compromised with what our views are on the jobs and came up with a
Hmm.
list that for the two of us is about where we're going to put them.
Yeah.
Now, whether we're happy about them being there is kind of a different issue.
Well, that's the thing. We're adults. We can
Yeah.
compromise. Compromising is not the sign of weakness. It is the truest sign of strength, in my
I
opinion.
mean, you could just go back to hell where you came from.
You're just salty jealous.
Damn right I am. I'm an adult. And it doesn't want to go back up. It knows its spot.
You offended it. You hurt its feelings. It will now unga bunga below you.
Um,
But
I mean, if
oh,
Dark Knight,
but if anyone's asking about where the crafters are, they all belong in the same tier. Crafter. Then the
yeah,
gatherers. They belong in the gather. There's no difference.
the only way Dark Knight would get bumped up to something perfect is even
HP
if it's
drain greed.
just one, give it an HP regen ability that it can use, like
Yep.
Warrior uses Nation Flash.
Yep. Or paladins.
Like it doesn't need to
Wait,
be able to share it.
no, that's fair.
It can be
I don't
selfish
think.
with that HP and just keep like Oblate and um
Like if he used oblation on itself, it was a regen. But oblation on somebody else was just a damage. It was just a defense spell. I
yeah.
think that would be a good
Yeah,
compromise.
Blackest Night and Oblation are the 5 spells to share, and Blackest Night popping to get the free damage attack. Perfect. Now let me have Blood Weapon or something equivalent to get my HP back.
Fair enough.
So I think that's going to be calling it for a night there.
And just one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
Could we please just rework the fairy just a little bit more? I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, if they rework the fairy, it might get bumped up into No Strong Feelings.
Yeah.
But
But honestly, Scholar also is getting to near overbloated on commands as well.
I'll take your word for it. I haven't touched Scholar in so long.
Mm-hmm. Oh well. But I think this is a good place to stop.
Mm-hmm.
This was fun.
So, folks, we thank you for your time. I
If
would,
we've just, done your favorite job dirty, please tell us how we did it. And if you got your own thoughts, hey, tell us what your top jobs are.
yeah,
I want to know.
I would just like
And
to say to all the people, thank you for the 200 views on Kamen Rider 5s.
yeah, that was nice of you.
We really appreciate if you leave some comments that we can respond to. Because I can't respond to something that's not there.
Please give us your opinions. And remember, you can use any job in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Do not let our list tell you, no, we want you all tanks to be worse. No, that sounds boring as hell.
If you could
Please.
Scholar up a Storm, let us know. Maybe we're doing something wrong. Maybe there's some hidden mechanic we don't understand.
I know I'm doing something wrong. And I'm not afraid to learn a new thing. It's how I learned how to be a decent tank.
Yeah. I mean,
I had
there's
to
more
learn-
to being
I
a
had
tank
to
to
learn-
get smashed in the face.
I had to learn what provoke was. I did.
No, it just makes me laugh because I remember I was doing Black Mage wrong when I unlocked Fire 4.
Oh, yeah.
Or no, sorry, not 4, 3, because I was like, ooh, big numbers mean big damage.
Fair enough.
So, we'll see you next time, folks. Depending upon when this is put up, it might be before or possibly after the Batman episode. It kind of depends on how things go. I honestly hope it doesn't, but better safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So
take care, all.
Have a good night, folks.
And walk free in the light of the crystal.
Oh, by the way, Em, we got to go back to the Waking Sands.
Oh, God damn it.